Park, the Astros will continue this four-game series with the Seattle Mariners. Houston coming off a 6-2 road trip, but they've lost the first two games of this series with Justin Verlander and Garrett Cole on the mound. And with that, Seattle has moved from 8 games back to 6 games behind in the AL West. The Oakland A's had an opportunity last night to gain ground, but they lost their game in Anaheim. So the Astros start the day 4.5 up on the A's in the AL West. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Todd Callis alongside Jeff Plum. Jeff Bagwell will join us in the broadcast booth. He is down on the field for the alumni ceremonies before this game. Blummer, it'll be nice to see this Astros team get a win, especially against a team in the Mariners that's chasing them.
Yeah, you definitely want to beat up on the teams inside this division. It hasn't been so good for the Astros against the division rivals inside here at Minute Maid Park, but out on the road it's been a little bit better, but they need to turn things around quick.
Yeah, what is going on at home? That's what we've been trying to figure out the last couple of years. The team just hasn't been playing as well inside Minute Maid Park.
Yeah, these guys haven't been playing well, but we know that they play well against a guy going for the Seattle Mariners tonight. Wade LeBlanc is a guy who has given it up against the Houston Astros. Against them, they are 4-0 with a .407 batting average, and what I like is that OPS. I talk about it all the time. That combines on-base percentage, slugging percentage. That tells me they're getting on base and they're doing damage. Last time they faced LeBlanc up at Safeco Field, Marwin Gonzalez got that right-handed swing going with 2 home runs in that ball game. But there's also a couple other guys that are in this lineup that have big numbers against him. One of them is Evan Gattis. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But it is a 10.22 ERA for Wade LeBlanc against this offense. So hopefully here at Minute Maid Park, they can continue that magic.
All right, we'll see if that works out tonight. They need a little offensive magic, and hopefully they'll get it turned around. Jeff Bagwell will join us, and he'll be in the booth for all 9 tonight as the Astros and the Mariners play Game 3 of this 4-game series. Specialty store. Astros and Mariners, game 3 of this 4-game series. Charlie Morton back on the mound at home, hopefully carrying some of that mojo from his last 3.
Yeah, he's really going to need to. The last 2 starts here at home have not gone good. 8 runs in the last 2 starts here at Minute Maid Park, but the last 3 starts on the road, in those 19 innings, he has racked up 21 strikeouts. We have seen Charlie be very good with the fastball, and again, that breaking ball really being the equalizer for him to go out there and get the swing and miss in opportunities that he needs it. But it'll be a lot of fun to see CFM out on the mound here at Minute Maid Park.
When we come back, we will hear from Bart Ennis, and he will tell you how the Astros need to control the top part of the Mariners lineup, which has done a lot of damage in this series.
At Minute Maid, they're expecting another great crowd tonight. So the Astros want to give all these fans and these legends something to cheer about. But my goodness, the first 2 games of this series have been all Seattle. And Astros pitchers have had a very tough time with the top of this Mariners order, specifically right fielder Mitch Haniger, who was never a leadoff hitter until Thursday night. Did it for the first time, and he seems to be taking to it. He was 2 for 4 with a couple of doubles last night after going 4 for 5 with a homer and 2 doubles on Thursday. He and Denard Span, hitting in the 2-hole, have combined to go 11 for 16, 7 extra base hits, 6 runs scored, and 7 RBIs so far in the series. They've done most of that against Verlander and Garrett Cole. So tonight, Charlie Morton will get his turn to try to keep those guys in check. He was 1-2 against the Mariners last year, but really had very little run support until he finally beat them in September of last year when it mattered most. And his 2 starts against the Mariners this year have both been wins. On April 19th, he threw 7 shutout innings, and the Astros won easily 9-2. Then at the end of July, he allowed just 2 earned runs over 6 innings and struck out 8 in both of those games while walking just 1. Charlie's .857 winning percentage is the best in the majors. It was funny, guys, because yesterday I saw him in the clubhouse and I said, hey, what's it like to have, make your first All-Star team and have your name tossed around in the Cy Young conversation at 34? And he just laughed and shook his head and he said, I still can't believe it all.
Yeah, he's as humble as they come, age 34, and he's having the best year of his career and getting a start against the Mariners tonight, Plummer.
Yeah, good splits. But Charlie is a real competitor. We showed you the last 3 times out there. He has been very good, and a lot of it has to do with that fastball that he's throwing almost 58% of the time. But he is heavy on the fastball. I know his nickname is Ground Chuck, but he could also be called Uncle Charlie because of that curveball.
Lineup he will face tonight for the Mariners. They have been lethal to top, as he just heard from Bart, Mitch Haniger, Denard Span, Gene Segura, Nelson Cruz. Same guys at the top of the lineup, followed by Kyle Seager at third. Chris Herman gets the start behind the plate. Ryan Healy at first. D. Gordon moves up a slot to eighth. And Guillermo Heredia bats ninth and plays center field. We have a legend with us tonight. We have the Hall of Famer, part of Alumni Weekend. How are you, Baggy?
Good, my brother.
Good to see you again.
JB.
Jeff with a G.
You were just down on the field. Good to see some of your old compadres, huh?
Man, it's funny to see all those guys and just the stories that we remember and stuff like that. That's what it's all about. That's what guys, they miss about the games. You know, just having stories and talking about the good times, talking about funny stuff. So it was very neat for us.
Let's talk about the good times tonight. It's been a while for the Astros since they won a game at home.
Yeah, they played Oakland here. Oakland seems like they always play well here. And the same with Seattle. When we play those two teams on their place, we seem to do pretty well. But, you know, our guys, man, they just struggle a little bit scoring. You know, about 3 months ago when I started doing this, we were talking about the team. We weren't scoring runs and said, you know, it's going to take some time. Our pitchers are holding us in there, and we're just going to get some timely hits, and we'll be all right.
Mitch Haniger leads things off. He has had quite a series with 6 hits, including 4 doubles and a home run and 9 at-bats. And Charlie has missed on the first 3 pitches tonight and is down 3-0.
How many Joe West stories do you have?
I got some good ones.
Joe West behind the plate tonight. We're going to have some fun.
Okay, well, I'll tell you an easy one first because I just saw Craig. So I walked up to home plate in Dodger Stadium, and he looked at me because you could eat soup off his head. Talking how small Craig is. Okay, that's not bad. But so Joe wears a West vest that was his deal that came up with the underneath the shirt. I imagine he has it on. I can't see from here. So Joe would go back and forth and losing weight. So we're playing in Dodger Stadium, and he's doing first base. So I walked over to him when the game started. I said, "Hey man, I didn't know you wore that thing underneath your regular uniform." He actually lost it, laughing so hard. I delivered it better when I was on the field. But
you got him going, huh?
Oh yeah, it was great. And then the other story is a Mike Hampton story, which is one of the better stories there is. We're in a place called the Lodge in Chicago after a game.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, shockingly we were there. And Joe was there, and our clubhouse manager, Dennis Laborio, who just passed, was there sitting at the bar. And we were standing behind, and Hampton was there, and he was young. It was when he first came over here. And so Joe's sitting next to Dennis, and Joe orders like a hamburger or something like that, and Mike Hampton's going up to get a beer or something. He says, "Hey, man, you might want to mix in a salad."
Mike Hampton says
yeah,
this.
so I'm sitting back there, and I forget who I was with. Might have been Craig. I'm not sure who it was. I went, "Oh, my God." I said, "Don't say anything. Don't say one word." Game starts. Hampton's that next pitcher, so he's at home plate. So, you know, generally the pitcher has the ball and everything like that. It's fine. Joe walks the ball out to the pitcher's mound, hands it to him, and goes, "Guess I should mix in a salad?" And I am dying laughing all that. And he loved Hampton after that forever. But Joe's a great umpire. If I had a big game, honestly, I would want Joe behind home plate. I think he's very fair, very consistent, and does a good job.
There you go. We're off and racing on Joe West stories. I love it.
Call some strikes, Joe.
How was his strike
exactly
zone?
right.
How was his strike zone for Hampton that day?
He was fine because I think Joe liked the fact that Mike would say that, because most people are like, "Oh, don't say that to Joe West. Oh my God, you're done." You know, and back in those days, you could get done real quick. Where they held a grudge because we only had National League umpires and American League umpires. They weren't combined.
Right.
But no, he was great to handle it after that.
Leadoff walk to Mitch Haniger. Denard Span, the batter. He's also having a good series against the Astros. 5 for 8 with a triple and a home run in that mix. There's that curveball for a strike, which has been the big equalizer for Charlie the last couple of years against left-handers.
Well, that pitch right there, I mean, if you're a left-handed hitter, that looks like it's coming out of Bregman's shirt over there. It's so far out of the zone that you give up on it, and it's so good that it breaks back in the zone. Kind of like, you know, Lance, same kind of breaking ball. They get a lot of pitches on the outside part of the plate calls because hitters just give up on it.
1-2 is inside. It's 2-2.
If I talk too much, guys, I've been away from here for a long time, so I might have a whole bunch of stuff to say. So just let me know.
Bring it. Bring it.
I'm just kidding.
Do you know that the last time the Astros won a home game was the last game you worked?
Come on.
I'm
Is that not
lying
crazy to
about
think
that.
about?
You worked the Saturday before the All-Star break. Swing and a miss. Charlie gets a strikeout on that breaking ball.
I did. You're right.
You
That's
worked
the last time
Saturday
we won a
before
game.
the All-Star break. They lost the last game of that series to the Tigers when Justin Verlander gave up 4 to his former team. And the Texas Rangers came in. They haven't played a ton of home games.
Oh, we got swept by Texas.
That's right. And then the first 2 here to Seattle.
So for sure, it's my fault then. I need to be here more.
There you go.
Yeah. So tonight's the night.
Tonight
Be
is
here
the
tomorrow.
night.
If they win, you got to be here tomorrow.
To watch the
I
home
know
run
you'll
derby.
be.
To watch the home run derby. That's what I'm coming
boy.
to see.
You are coming out tomorrow to watch
Well,
that?
I watched Blummy call out Bish on TV.
Did
while
you
I was
like
down
that? I
and
thought you would
Here's the
appreciate
great
that.
part about that. I loved it. The problem is Craig can't hear. So I look. Seriously, he can't
So
hear.
there's
so
no
I go,
effect?
Did you see what Blummy just said? He goes, no. What'd he say?
Are you
I said,
kidding
he said,
me?
you got no chance because you're too old. He goes, oh, I know that. Yeah, I know. He said he was going to say that. I said, well, he just did in front of that big screen right there.
Got to stir the pot a little bit.
A.J. Hinch not only is a manager, but he's fixing the starting catcher's mitt.
Well, that's what he does.
What do you mean that's what he does?
Well, you have to do that. He couldn't hit, so he doesn't need how to figure out how to use his mitt.
You're just going right strong.
I told you I haven't been here.
Yeah. Raring to go. You just taking notes at home?
No.
Apparently A.J. didn't fix it quick enough because they went to the backup mitt.
Just made it look good. That's what you have to do.
Here's Gene Segura. A walk and a strikeout to start this one, and Charlie tries a pickoff at first. So yeah, you were in a few home run derbies, so you may have some advice for Blummer tonight, huh?
Yeah, we'll be picking your brain about that. How
No,
many
you're
did you hit in?
different. When?
Yeah, because I don't have power. So
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Remember a World Series game?
Oh, dang it.
Remember one of those? See how he brought himself into this?
I did not bring
Yeah, he
myself
did,
into
he
this.
did.
You
He brought
did. You do
himself.
that every time.
I know, I'm just saying. No, but
That was not my last home
but
run
you
here
like
at
it.
Minute Maid Park, though.
You like it low, down and in. Craig has to have it up and in so he can hook it to the only place he can reach is the Crawford bounces.
Did you hear he ordered a brand new set of bats for this thing?
I did not. But I like
Bregman
this
to
right
his
here.
left. A little bit of a low throw
ball.
and a nice turn by Ewing.
Ooh.
Charlie gets out of it with a strikeout and a double play.
That was not an easy turn. Alex back at third base, gave a low feed, but Yuli, who doesn't play a ton of second base, did a good job of getting it and making the throw.
Leading off will be Tony Kemp once again, followed by Alex Bregman at third. Carlos Correa back for his second game off the DL. Evan Gattis DHs. Marwin Gonzalez at left. Yuli Gurriel plays second base tonight. Josh Reddick is in right field. Tyler White at first, and Max Stassi behind the plate.
Left-hander Wade LeBlanc going for the Seattle Mariners. 23 games. He has 18 starts. The record is very good. He's done a great job since moving into that starting rotation. If you're the Astros, you want to get him early, but he does not have very good numbers against the Astros. In 8 games, he has given up 7 home runs.
Tony Kemp batting in the leadoff spot again tonight. He's been there 5 times this year for the Astros. Tony, another game last night where he was on base a couple of times. Has that on base percentage up to .392 this year.
That's pretty good.
He's been really good wherever he's been.
He's done great. He really has. You know, he stepped up and got in a situation where he got a chance to play, open some eyes. He moved from 9th to 1st. That's not a bad deal. Generally, it goes the other way. Out of the game.
Starting the
No, seriously. Like Brad Osmus. I told you guys this story before. I spent 16 years in big leagues at an 8th. Who does that? I mean, if that's not Hall of Fame potential, I don't know what is. 8th for 16 years. More years than I played. Unbelievable.
We're happy to have Jeff Bagwell in the booth tonight.
I'm not sure any ex-teammates are.
Just torching some people early this evening.
That is hilarious.
AJ, the only reason I said that about AJ is because I'm mad at him, because when I came in, I said I was going to talk to him, and he didn't come back to his office for like 30 minutes. So.
Uh-oh. So you
he's
never saw
got
him?
some team he has to worry about or something.
Yeah, priorities, right?
Trying to win a division. Fly ball to center field up the bat of Kemp. Heredia spins around and makes the play for the first out in the bottom of the first.
A reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to the Miller Lite Hold True moment later in tonight's game.
A little different year this year, Baggy, with the Astros last year kind of in cruise control at this point of the season. This year, their record's better than last year, but they've got a little more competition.
Yeah, it seems different, doesn't it?
Yep.
You know, you come off the high of winning the World Series, and then you come out, and, you know, our guys are so good, and, you know, it was the regular season was so easy for us that you could rest guys for a long. In June, we could rest guys. Now with, you know, Seattle getting better, Oakland's gotten better. You know, you thought that Anaheim was going to get better. It wasn't going to be that easy, and we got to do stuff to be better. You know, right now we're playing without 3 of our studs out there every day, which is difficult. But you know, good teams find a way, and we've been doing that. I mean, this home thing will go away tonight. I already told you that.
Yep.
And then, you know, our pitching is what it is. Our pitching is just like I've said before. It's just like it is in defense. It travels. It does well here. It does well on the road. If we get good pitching, we always got a chance to win.
Last night, one of those nights where, you know, Garrett Cole ends up 7 1/3, 4 runs, and he pitched much better than that.
I don't know about you guys, but I feel like he's done that a ton. Like he gets into the 6th or 7th inning, and he hasn't given up a run or anything like that. He might give up 2, and then we just can't come back for him. But he's great, man. Every time he goes out there, all these guys, they just put us in a position to win. And as an offense, that's all you can ask for. Give us a chance.
Well, that's what worked on that road trip, is that the pitching staff kept them into ball games and allowed one big swing to go out there. Because like you said, without having a Correa, Springer, and Altuve in there consistently, you're not going to score runs at will like they normally can. Right. So you need that one big hit.
No doubt. And, you know, and those hits that those guys got, that'll help us down the road. Where in September, where these guys have been in big situations, they understand what they have to do. They're not going to be overwhelmed by the moment. It's all good stuff for later down the road.
3-2 pitch just misses. Alex Bregman on base yet again. He has now been on base in 71 of 73 games.
I got to imagine, as we talk Joe West, I got to imagine there's some conversations down there with Alex Bregman, with his personality and Joe's personality, that are probably funny as heck.
I would say they're 2 highly competitive guys, but they also have some pretty good wit.
Yes, they do.
Here's Carlos Correa. Correa coming back for his 2nd game after missing 36 with that back injury.
Yeah, and you know, fans, you know, just if Carlos gets a hit or not, you know, right now, him being in that batter's box means a ton. Everybody on the team goes, okay, Carlos is there. That's the big dude. We're like, hey, man, we got this guy there. It relaxes everybody because it feels like it takes a little bit of pressure off the other guys. It means a lot. It's like when Justin came over here. Him just walking in the clubhouse with that name on his back and those, you know, Cy Youngs and all these strikeouts, it means something. Even though he hasn't even pitched an inning for us. Of course, obviously, he did great after that. But that's what it means, and that's what Carlos means being in there right now.
Carlos drew a walk his first time up last night, ended up the night 0 for 3.
Of course, I mean, I'm talking about, I feel better.
Yeah, no, it affects
I
everybody.
do.
The fans, us, yeah.
And that doesn't take away from anything the other guys are doing. They're
Absolutely
doing great.
not.
But, you know, Carlos Correa is Carlos Correa. You know, and Springer and Altuve is the MVP. So those are big things, and this is what good ball clubs do.
Carlos takes a called 3rd strike on the outside edge as LeBlanc picks up his first strikeout, 2 outs in the inning.
I believe that was a little bit of a cutter down and away on our MD Anderson strike zone. You can see that pitch barely coming back, catching just a bit of the outside edge.
Yeah, and Blummy, as a hitter right there, you're seeing ball the whole way.
Yeah.
And then right when you start to flinch a little bit, it's already at your kneecaps.
Yep.
It's a tough pitch for any hitter to get, but we talked about that earlier with the curveball. It's the same thing with the cutter from a lefty to a righty.
And once the brain shuts down, the hands can't react.
Yeah. You don't have time.
There's a Another one on the corner against Evan Gaddis. Gaddis with great numbers against LeBlanc in his career. 6 for 11, 2 doubles, 3 home runs. He gets that edge all night. That's going to make things tougher for the Astros.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing about that. Joe will call that pitch all day long. He won't go farther than that.
Yeah, he'll be consistent.
Yes, he will.
Yeah.
And I think as a hitter, that's all I can ask for. What has changed in the game is that box that we see. Because we never saw that before him when I played.
Right.
So you have no real clue. You know, all you can go is by how the camera looked on that. But there's nothing you can do about it. But now that you have this, then guys, you know, they're still going to say it's a ball, but it doesn't matter. He's calling it, so you have to swing at it at some point. No, but, you know, when you got 2 strikes, that pitch is available to him.
Well, and I think when you're working with certain umpires too, and early on you get a couple of pitches called on you, and you know that he's just trying to establish the outside corner, you start to look out there too, and you start to defend that when you get to 2 strikes.
Yes. Yeah, for sure you do. The only thing that as a hitter that you can hope is it maintains there.
Yeah.
If you take it another ball out, then I got a problem.
Yeah, then the play gets huge.
Yeah,
and it's tough to cover the whole thing.
Then you're in straight battle mode. You're already in battle mode.
Evan down in the count, 1-2.
So you tried it again right there.
You said it's changed the game in what way?
For hitters, I believe hitters, they look at that all the time, and I don't know if it justifies them not swinging at it. It's a ball, but as I look over here, we got 9 innings and hits and runs and all that. That's how we're judged. So if the guy's going to consistently call that, we have to make an adjustment to that. Now, what I remember when I played a long time ago is, I hate to say those words when I remember, but if he gave you that, you would hope that he was not going to give that part on the inside.
Yeah, you almost hope that 17 or 18 inches of the plate kind of shifted, and you lost the inside corner to get the outside.
Yes, because if that inside corner gets called a ball, you got nowhere to go. Because it looks small here on TV, but when you're up there, that plate seems the size of the entire baseline. Especially in my last 3 years, there was like 48 guys out there.
Bregman on the move on the 3-2 pitch, and Gaddis sends one into right, where Mitch Haniger puts it away for the final out of the inning. So we're through the first, scoreless. She'll also show off McCovey's Cove and AT&T Park. That's her prepping for the Legends race coming up in Oakland. All that and more on Astros Bases Loaded after the postgame show, only on AT&T Sportsnet. Julie will race as one of the legends.
Of Eck, yeah.
Yes, might be Eck next time we get into Oakland. Second inning baseball, scoreless, and Charlie Morton facing Nelson Cruz, misses inside for ball 1. Charlie Cruz has been on a power surge lately. His last 15 games, 8 home runs and 18 runs batted in.
Yeah, I'm not real excited to see him up ever.
Especially with runners on.
Yeah, he's not bad, man. He's really good.
He's been killing fastballs this year too.
key point in last night's game after
pitch,
Garrett Cole missed. He got ahead 0-2.
Yeah.
And then wasn't able to land any of those breaking balls. Next thing you knew, it was 3-2, and he was sitting fastball.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. And, the only problem, and the press will tell you the same thing, it was a fastball center cut.
Yep.
And that count, chances are he's going to put a decent swing on it.
Charlie ahead of him here, 1-2. Charlie walked the first batter of the game and got out of it with a strikeout and a double play. Cruz started out slow this year, had an ankle injury, and struggled for the first month or so, but over his last 62 games, hitting over 300.
I'll tell you about something about Nelson I saw, I think it was last year, or maybe it was the year before. They came in here and good pitch there by Charlie. They came in here and everybody was kind of, they were like 1-2 games back or something like that. I don't know what it was. Like, must have been a wild card. Maybe was it 16 that we were in it with them towards the end?
Yeah, we battled a little bit, but 2015 is when they got
15?
that wild card bid, yeah.
Well, he came with a bad wrist, and he played every game, and he got to first base, and I saw him wincing trying to take his batting gloves off.
Wow.
And I said, you know what? That's the kind of dude I want on my team, because he's hurting like that bad, and he's still out there. So I got nothing but respect for Nelson, except for the next 2 games.
He has a good Joe West story. He took a selfie with him at the All-Star game.
I saw that.
Here's Kyle Seager.
I did see that.
Hey, we have a diagram we'll show you after Seager bats. Or maybe even on a foul ball, depending. But we have Brad
Did you text
Ausmus.
BA and tell him to watch the next segment?
No, because he's way wittier than I am, so I got to make
Just
sure he
let
doesn't
him.
hear this. Or if he does, then he won't be around.
So if Brad Ausmus is watching,
Yeah.
you would prefer that he's not, actually.
No, actually, I prefer that he was. I mean, I can take it. For
I
all
would
those
say
years I
for
played,
years,
I've
yeah.
done plenty of that. We're just trying to get a diagram of exactly how people's careers go.
2-1 the count. Seager against Morton in his career is just 1 for 13. Charlie has struck him out 4 times. Now the count's 3-1.
All these things I make fun of people really generally because I love these people. Just to say that, I really do.
Well, the premise is our statistician Phil Boudreau, who's
Yeah.
phenomenal. He, in between or during the last inning, broke down all the starts for Ausmus by where he's been in the batting order. And you mentioned he was in the number 8 and 9, 8 and 8 spot a lot. 996 times.
That's a nice career for a lot of people.
All right, we got a camera who's in the booth now, so I'll let you break it down, Baggy.
So
Because you're talking about Tony Kemp.
Okay, well, no, we start with Ausmus. So, okay, Ausmus says he bat leadoff. They moved catcher. He could run well for a catcher, so they tried that. That didn't work. Tried him at second because he can bunt guy over. That didn't work. The whole team, all 8 guys had the flu, so he batted third that game. He didn't bat fourth at all this time. Batted fifth by default there, and then you can see that how it starts to work. 66 and 428 and 996 that 8. There's his career going that way. Gone. Tony Kemp went from 9 down to 1. That's a good trend, a movement towards a good solid career. So
That's the breakdown of the 2 careers?
yes, that's the breakdown. Although my boy did spend 16 or 17 years in the big leagues, so more than me. So I guess maybe I'm just bitter.
Good stuff right there. As we got a foul out of play.
He had 1,500 at bat, or 1,500 games.
Starts.
7, 8, 9.
Yeah. Pretty good career. With that bat in his hand.
Was he hiding down there?
No, he was catching. That's what he was doing. Best thing you can say about his offense is he can catch. It's true. I love him dearly, but I spent 9 of those years sitting next to him in the locker room. So I've taken my share of punishment from him, and he's way smarter than me with a better vocabulary.
1-2 pitch doesn't miss by much, but it's 2-2. Chris Herman getting the start tonight behind the plate. Brad Ausmus all those years behind the plate.
You know, you said something earlier, TK, that I didn't even think about that. Shame on me. Charlie's win-loss record and heck yeah, we should be in the Cy Young race.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had a hell of a season. He's just like the nicest guy in the entire world. I mean, his heart rate is like 40/20. I mean, he's calm all the time.
There's a strike. Herman took some close ones with 2 strikes. Finally was called out on the final one, and that's 3 for Charlie in a 1-2-3 second.
And it is Marwin Gonzalez with some key names out of this lineup. Marwin getting a chance to step into the middle portion of this lineup and do some damage. And August has been his month. 387 average, 8 RBIs, and 8 runs scored. But we've also seen that power surge from Marwin Gonzalez. 3 home runs on that road trip from the right side, 1 from the left side. Marwin getting into the mix with some big hits. Nice for the Astros to get some of those guys that you don't normally anticipate carrying a team doing a very good job. But he's getting back to what he did last year, driving in runs.
No doubt. And I think the people have to realize is, you know, obviously everybody's seen Marlon hit left-handed and how great he is and how great he's hitting fastballs. We made a little adjustment in spring training, hitting right-handed. You know, and all of a sudden we got a whole bunch of lefties in this game pitching now.
Yep.
And I think he's done a tremendous job working hard at it. And you're starting to see results. And I mean, it's such a pleasure for me to watch because he's such a good kid and he does everything. You know, and I spoke to kids a little bit today and I was saying, you know, don't think that you have to, you know, beat one position. You have to be a shortstop or you have to be a pitcher or whatever. Teams now in the big leagues are looking for guys that can do everything. And you do not find guys like Marwin Gonzalez that can do it above average at every position.
Very few.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think the trend in the game is the versatility, but it's athleticism.
Yes.
Get some athletes that can go out there and move around a little bit and then swing it on top of it.
What's that pitch again?
A low cutter.
Cutter away. Yep.
He's been throwing a lot of cutters.
Yeah. Well, he has to because he's not going to be able to get you out with velocity.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you believe that somebody can throw underneath hitting speed?
Yes.
That's what I kind of explained Wade LeBlanc being like, as a guy who throws under hitting speed.
Well, what happens is, as a hitter, when somebody's throwing 95, your reaction time is very, 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 very quick. When you get a guy that's not throwing that hard, you get more time to react. And it's not a lot of time, but you have more time to react. So I think what you do is you start to think about, okay, what do I want to do with this ball? Instead of instinctually at 95, I'm swinging to where I can hit it. Yes, you react. And I think that's what happens. That's why right-handers have a very hard time hitting a line drive to right field because they have too much time to watch a Tom Glavine or a LeBlanc pitch to sit there and say, I'm going to stay in, I'm going to stay in, I'm going to stay in and hit a ball to right field.
That could be the key swing thought for Yuli in this at-bat, though, especially as he's been struggling lately.
He is, but the only thing that messes that up, the first pitch curveball he took a swing. It's the first pitch he's seen today. But that's Yuli. That's what he does.
He doesn't see a whole lot of pitches.
I do not worry about Yuli.
I agree. His ability to stay up the middle, and
that's not going to go away.
He's not afraid to let a pitch travel when things are going wrong.
He's great at it.
Yeah. Almost mentally against Wade LeBlanc, you would imagine they almost sit changeup mentally. But he's got that backdoor cutter going real good right now.
Yeah, if I was to face him, I would just totally think right center. And then everything else I just react to. Guys like Alex, who can let the ball travel because he's so quick, he really got to force himself to just stay right and then just react, like that pitch right there. But that's okay. You know, that's where he was going with that. It's not a pitch Yuli generally kills anyway. Actually, I take that back. Up and in, he gets a line drive somewhere to the right. But you just have to be more patient on LeBlanc than you do, say, Charlie Morton.
On the ground, there's a base hit into left field. Yuli with the Astros' first hit tonight. He's a one-out base runner.
Oh, my God.
Brad Osmus apparently contacted our truck and asked if we could show some of these highlights.
Oh, the Farnsworth home run.
I mean, the placement of that home run was perfect.
I mean, that's what he has to do. He's got to place it perfectly. That's totally the farthest ball he could ever hit. No.
He didn't hit many, but that was pretty good timing on that.
I have a jersey signed by him, and he said, I'm going to say something nice. I was going to say something funny, and the last thing he wrote was, remember the home run off of Farnsworth? That was what I have. I do remember it, though. That was awesome.
Here's Josh Reddick.
Josh is another guy, man, that you know, I didn't know much about him when we got him. He does a lot of things right. He really does. He runs the bases really, really well. He's a great teammate. He wants to be out there. His stock for me has gone up a lot.
The guy you appreciate more when you watch over a full season.
Yeah, I do. You know, and as for fans, and including myself in that thing, is, you know, with our big horses out, gets you some time to appreciate and watch other players that you don't get to see. You know, everybody's going to root for Springer and, you know, Altuve and Correa and Bregman and all that. But now you get a chance to see the rest of our guys and what they can do on a daily basis. And, you know, you can find stuff that you like about certain different guys that you didn't even think about beforehand. Tony Kemp's ability to put together great at-bats. You know, Reddick with his base running. Marwin, you know, how he's starting to hit with power now. Little things that you don't notice as much before because the other guys are getting all the publicity, which is fine. But I enjoy a little bit of that. But that being said, I still want to see those other guys.
Tyler White, who's on deck, has put together a nice little run lately.
He really has. That home run he hit in San Francisco, I mean, that was huge.
Reddick down to the count 1-2. Josh with good numbers against LeBlanc as well. He's 5 for 10 with a home run against the left-hander. He has hit lefties the last couple of years as he drives one towards right field in the corner, and that's down for a base hit. Stays in play. Now they're going to say it goes out of play, as a fan did catch that ball on the hop. Josh Reddick with a double. The Astros have second and third and one out.
That's one thing for me about Josh that's been really impressive is since he's become an Astro, there's been a lot of question marks. How is he going to handle left-handed pitching? But hitting .314 last year against lefties earned him the right to get in here. But this season doing a phenomenal job against lefties. On our matches for him, Supermo, he got a pitch in that happy zone for left-handed hitters down and in.
Yeah, you remember that pitch, right, Blumen? No, but see, that's the great thing about.
I liked a lot of pitches in that area.
I understand that. But that's the thing about Josh, and this what was so great about AJ is AJ understands that. AJ, he's not afraid, and Josh knows that AJ has his back. And AJ doesn't play that you can't hit lefties. You know, he sticks him in there with guys he thinks he can hit, and I think he does a great job. He stays in there. And Blumen, you would know about hitting left-handed. You stay in there longer. You have to.
No, that's what's been impressive is that front shoulder of Josh. But you got to have a lot of faith in your hands and your ability to be able to keep that front side closed that long. But that's the crazy thing, isn't it funny? We talk all the time about left on left. You hit right on right your entire career.
I know. I'm tired of hearing left on left. I've been doing this sidearm.
But I mean, isn't that that's the craziest misconception to me, that it's harder for lefties to hit lefties as opposed to righties constantly hitting right-handed pitching.
They do, and you know what happens in the big leagues is all of a sudden you see Randy Johnson come in. They're like, "Oh no, it's left on left." I don't care if you're right-handed. Nobody wants to face Randy.
Comfortable.
But I think the game has changed a lot. Like we talked about a little earlier, we're seeing a lot more lefties.
Yeah.
So guys should be a lot more comfortable facing lefties now. And generally, man, you know the great lefties, and I'm talking about great ones. So they hit everybody. They don't care who's out there.
Yeah. Well, they're professional hitters for a reason.
Yeah.
Tyler White down to the count 0-2. The infield back here with one out and runners on second and third. Astros have struggled a little bit on this homestand, getting runners in with less than 2 outs from third base.
It's a good job right there. That's that cutter away right there again. The thing that as hitters and run producers, this is not a stressful situation for the hitter. I mean, yeah, you got a guy out there throwing it and stuff like that, but you don't. You can hit a fly ball, you're fine. You get a base hit, you can do whatever. But the pitcher's the one that's worried about those two guys out there. You just got to get a good pitch to drive. That pitch he just fouled off, that number 3, which is a little bit off what we talked about, but that's a good sign that he did that.
You've got to enjoy these situations as a
no. You just stay. All I do is stay back and think about something over there, and if he pulls something
over there,
over to right, yeah, I'm sorry, into right center field. I'm just trying to hit a fly ball over there. You know. Especially in this situation.
Stay on this side of the field.
And he has stayed away a lot to righties tonight.
He is. But if he comes in, you should be able to fight that. So that's all right. So now he's getting back in the count. He's seeing everything now. Got to imagine something's coming in here.
So the swing he took at the 0-2 pitch, the cutter, you liked, and that told you that he's seeing it well.
Yeah, because that's the pitch that's been called. So he's thinking that pitch is being called. Because I know the guys when they're walking back to the dugout going, "Oh, that's not a strike, no way, no chance," and they go and look and see it wasn't. But if Tyler did his homework, that's the pitch.
To right field, base hit. 1 run scores. Reddick will score. 2 RBI base hit for Tyler White, and the Astros lead 2-0.
That's outstanding right there. Well, Baggy's in the booth giving hitting lessons, and Tyler White's listening. That's why the Astros are on the board.
Yeah, it is. It's real easy up here. But that's the thought process. When he fouled that ball off, he knew that pitch. And there he goes, he gets it again.
But to your point, you were talking about him possibly coming in a 1-2 count to just maybe change the eyes of Tyler White, maybe move his feet a little bit. But it doesn't seem like Wade LeBlanc has the kind of stuff to come in there because he was a little more scared of the 3-run home run.
Yeah, well, that wall gets a little bit in pitchers' heads.
Yeah.
You know, that jam shot for a home run. But Tyler did a great job because he doesn't throw hard enough where he can really beat you in there. So you can just foul it off if he comes in there.
Breaking ball for a strike to Stassi. It's 0-1.
That was a great at-bat.
No, it was a great piece of hitting.
Nice job, Tom.
Down in the count, 0-2.
Yeah.
Tyler White comes through with a 2 RBI base hit, and now Stassi bats.
That's the pitch that I thought he would throw to Tyler.
Try and tie him up.
Too late. Yeah, that's the pitch I thought he would go to.
I mean, and that goes back to your point of the pitcher's concern about second and third.
Yeah, exactly. Those two scare him a lot more than a guy in first. But how do you feel about it now? When he did what a good hitter does and hits a ball to right field like that with 2 RBIs.
Strikes out Stassi for the 3rd strikeout of the night, 2nd out of the inning. Go behind the scenes of Minute Maid Park with an Astros ballpark tour. The tour lets fans check out the broadcast booth, press box, dugout, scoreboard, and more. Visit astros.com/tours to book your tour today. So 3 consecutive hits in this inning, and the Astros lead it 2-0. Here's Tony Kemp, who flied to center his first time up. Tony takes a called strike. Tony 3 for 6 now in his career against LeBlanc. Takes one outside for a ball. It's 1-1.
Tony's gotten a couple of starts in this series. First one against left-handed pitcher James Paxton. Put together some great ABs off him. A little bit different matchup for him against Wade LeBlanc. Because Reddick is the one guy, the left-handed hitter we didn't see in that opening game against James Paxton.
With the roster mix now, with Jake Marisnick going on the DL and Kyle Tucker being called up from AAA Fresno, AJ basically has to have at least 2 lefties in the lineup when a lefty starts. This is as right-handed as he can get.
Yeah, it's amazing. We haven't seen that all year long until this point with Jake Marisnick going on the DL with that groin injury and Kyle Tucker being recalled.
Now that will change when George Springer comes off the DL, and hopefully we'll see George near the beginning of the next road trip. Took some swings again today underneath. Tony got that in on the hand.
Yeah, that's a good job, though. He didn't put it in play. You know what I mean? He got beat. He wasn't looking in there.
Well, and also with everything we've seen from Wade LeBlanc, he really seems like he is on that arm side, which is inside to Tony.
Yes.
You know, that's that running fastball at 86, but also that cut fastball. So maybe LeBlanc is a little more comfortable on that side of the plate.
Yeah, could be. You're right. Well, yeah, you're right, because he throws on that side to the right-handers. This could work.
Into right field, Haniger, a long run. He'll get there and put it away for the final out. But the Astros score 2 on the Tyler White single and lead 2-0. And tomorrow's Home Run Derby. The 4 choices are Craig Biggio, our own Jeff Blum, Luke Scott, or Preston Wilson. Send in your votes to @ATT Sportsnet SW. How do you handicap that one, Baggy?
I would be actually. I'm with Blum. I mean, Luke Scott's. He just finished playing, didn't he?
2015, I think, was the last full season
he could always hit homers.
Yeah.
And Preston could be sneaky hit a sneaky far.
He's got pop going the other way, too. I mean, it's not just left field. He can go all over the place.
Ryan Healy leads off the 3rd inning. When you participated,
I don't know.
You got better as it went along, right? Every year?
No. Yeah, my last year, I made it to the 2nd round.
Yeah.
That was cool. I just wanted to hit one, but I was awful. I was fouling balls off the first base dugout. Matt Williams was looking at me like, hey, man, try that way. I'm like, I am trying. I was terrible. Alex was awesome this year.
That was pretty impressive to watch.
And you know what the funny part about that? It's not like I'm shocked.
I know, right?
I mean, that's what he does.
Just shows up for big moments.
And then by the way, win the game with a homer.
How did it? There's a lot of conversation when guys get into that home run derby and then they come out of the All-Star break and then all of a sudden they're not hitting as well as they were going into the All-Star break. Do you believe in any of the home run derby having an effect on these guys?
No, that's just an excuse. Put it this way: 6 months in baseball to make the All-Star team. Generally, you have to have really, really good first half.
There's a ball down the line, fair for Ryan Healy. He's going to get to 2nd with leadoff double in the 3rd inning.
So you're going pretty well when getting into the All-Star break. You're hitting probably one of your career highs, a whole bunch of RBIs and home runs. You get there, and then to start out, there is going to be a lull in your game at some point. There's not many guys in the game, not many at all, that can put together 6 great months. There's always going to be something. And as far as that goes, I don't believe it has anything. It's like playing golf. People say, no, you can't play golf. It'll mess your swing. How does it mess my swing up? The ball's on the ground. I mean, it's a totally different swing.
It's a good excuse.
Yeah, it's an excuse. Like everything's an excuse now. The shifts are an excuse. It's just, come on, man. Do your thing. But it's hard to maintain 6 months of greatness. It really is.
Here's a play where you, as a former first baseman, used to love to crash when you knew a guy was in bump mode.
Yeah. Well, D's are only a little bit different because he can swing the bat a little bit. But I'm probably start where he is right now, because you got to be careful with D because he can swing the bat.
Like there.
Yeah, so I think he's fine right there. Now, if it was a pitcher,
I was going to say,
I'm standing on the dirt in front of home plate, literally in the dirt.
And in the periphery, you're looking at where the runner is.
If that pitcher is up there, that's where Baggy is.
Yeah.
And as soon as Charlie comes set, he'd be in here in a hurry.
Yeah. That's with pitchers, because you know that they can't do it. The only tough ones that we ever had were when we faced the Braves, because the Braves guy all can handle the bat.
Yeah.
And they could hit it by you. I still did it, but you had to worry about them. Maddox used to get mad. He'd try and hit something at me, but he'd miss it.
StatCast AI, powered by AWS, is giving you an idea of how the defense is going to line up with a guy like D. Gordon up there who can lay down the bunt. Tyler White with 2 strikes is going to move back.
D bunted with 2 strikes last night. Here he takes one in the dirt. It's 2-2.
That's an interesting play, the 2-strike bunt.
How do you feel about that?
There's too much that can go wrong. You got to be perfect. And even if you get the bunt down, it's still not that easy to get a hit out of it. I don't know. It's tough.
Maldonado ended up throwing him out last night on a fine play.
Yeah. And, and I know Marwin did that one time a few weeks back.
Well, I think the perception is that it's, D. Gordon's a little bit different animal because he can run a little bit. So, he doesn't have to lay down a
Well, he does that for a living. He bunts.
But if you get some other guys, I think it implies panic when you try and square around with 2 strikes.
Charlie just missed on the 2-2 pitch, and now Gordon fouls away the 3-2.
The bunt plays, for me, I love bunt plays. There is no bunt play, basically. Whatever I decide to do, pretty much I did, unless it was a wheel, and those things went away after about 6 years in the big league.
Yeah, they
come to spring training, they give you like 4 different plays, and they only put 1 on the entire year.
I think it was just because it was a time killer in spring.
Yeah,
gave you something to do.
That's another one. You guys ever hear me eyewash again? That'll be another one.
On the ground, Gordon able to move the runner along. Thrown out by a stride as Yuli makes the play for out number 1.
Very good at bat by D right there.
But this is an opportunity for Charlie to have a shutdown inning. He's going to have to go to the swing and miss stuff to get through this inning, leaving Ryan Healy at third base.
Astros infielders looking in. Seattle just elected to play the infield back with second and third. Here.
This is the right play. AJ has the right play right here.
Moving
This is the what? The ninth hitter?
Yep.
Yeah. Because now all of a sudden, when he sees you guys move in, then his panic goes up. And then he takes one right down the middle.
Is that not amazing sometimes?
That,
I mean, we were not perfect players,
No.
but in situations, you talked about hitting off the fastball.
if Charlie's pitching on and you get that's the pitch you get, you better hit that. You got to hit off the fastball.
Gave it to him again.
Line drive caught by Yuli for out number 2.
Now, if the infield's back, that's an RBI.
Yes.
So you put all the pressure. He's not used to driving in runs.
Yeah.
You know, and so that pressure goes straight on him. And with Charlie's stuff, it makes it even worse.
Yeah, Charlie's got that bowling ball of a sinker that he can throw in there.
And he
Herad's not a guy that elevates.
No.
Because when you bring the infield in, you're thinking to elevate to the outfield, and that's not really a part of Heredia's game.
And my thing was, okay, they brought him in. That means I don't have to hit a ball that much farther away from him. Seriously, because they're so close, they can't get to everything.
Drops the curve in on Mitch Haniger to start this at bat. Haniger walked his first time up.
That's the right pitch right there. He just missed. After you throw that curveball at him, he kind of stands up a little bit, throw a heater right, throw another one in there. Charlie's two-seamer, there is nothing to do with that as a right-handed hitter, except hit it to third, off your shin, or miss. Neither one of them are good.
First inning out of the bullpen last year as he throws the rare changeup, huh?
Yeah, that's surprising. I get it, though, after throwing a fastball in and then throwing a changeup in.
Well, and you missed it at a good location, too.
You got to miss in. That's exactly right.
Now it's 3-1.
All the great pitchers that I've ever played with, when they miss off the plate. They don't miss on the plate. Roger, Randy, Andy Pettit, Roy, I mean, all the good ones. That's what they do. And they have good stuff, which is why they're pretty good.
Everything down in the zone here to Haniger, and he bounces one towards Yuli, who makes the play on a couple of hops. So after an opening double, Charlie strands that runner. It's still 2-0 Astros.
Bregman coming to the plate. We talked about some of the key injuries and how it affects this ball club and other guys having to step up. And with Altuve in the lineup, Alex Bregman through 100 games, saw his numbers, 281, 70 runs scored, the slugging percentage well up over 500, doing very good things. Things change a little bit when you remove Altuve from that third spot in the lineup behind Alex Bregman. The average drops, the runs go down a little bit. The on-base percentage is still going to be pretty good for Alex because he has good strike zone command. But when you don't have that guy hitting behind you, they treat Alex Bregman just a little bit differently in my eyes when he doesn't have that protection of Jose Altuve behind him.
Yeah, I agree. And I do agree with that for sure. And Alex has done that to himself in a good way. You know, he's
exactly
a heck
right.
of a player. The other part is what I told you about going into the All-Star break. He was hot as it comes. You know, and then, you know, it's tough to just maintain that. And now he's got a lot of focus on him because Altuve's not in the lineup. There's no Correa, there's no Springer. But this is all part of learning. I mean, you got to remember, Alex is only 24 years old. And this is learning. And the biggest thing Alex does, that as long as you see him not deviate from the strike zone, he's always going to be okay.
Yeah.
Because his mechanics, fundamentally, barrel to ball, are as good as anybody I've seen in a short distance.
And some interesting numbers post All-Star break without Altuve in that lineup. So they are going to pitch him a little bit differently. Yes. And I actually ran into him on that last road trip, and I go, well, how's it feel being the guy? And he kind of gave me a little snicker, and I said, yeah, they're treating you a little bit differently, aren't they? I said, you put up all-star numbers, they're going to attack you and try and figure out some weaknesses.
Yeah, but you two guys know he loves that fact.
Absolutely.
He wants to be that dude. And we got a good one with him. And he takes all those things in, and he thinks about them and what he wants to do and what he wants to accomplish in this game. And so far, what I've seen, I mean, we talk about all the time, this dude came up and went 1 for what, 35, 33, 34? He didn't do anything. He battled it out that year.
Yep.
Hit 250 or something like that. He's gotten better every year.
3-1 pitch is sent in the air to right field. Mitch Haniger's there.
He doesn't miss that one very often right there.
Did you see anything in that swing?
A little bit long. I bet he got out on his front a little bit too early.
Sometimes I feel like the hands kind of come with the stride.
That's it.
You know,
You've talked about it on here before.
Yeah.
That's what happens. If your hands go with your body, you're done.
Then that swing gets
Your body
long.
can go a little bit, like Yuli does it great.
Yeah.
His front side goes, but his hands stay back because he's square to the pitcher. And he's able to get the barrel to ball when guys like me would roll over to the third baseman.
But I'm in agreement with you as far as Alex Bregman is concerned. His swing is so simplified and beautiful and so quick to the baseball that he can correct that pretty quick.
Yes, he can.
Here's Carlos Correa.
It's a gift, man, to have that.
Yeah.
Check out my swing on slow-mo and see that. See how great you think I am then. To have that hack. Oh, my God. I mean, it's all over the place.
That's why you're in the Hall of Fame, because you perfected that hack.
Awful. He is so.
But that goes to what you say about perfecting who you are and making that work.
I know. Let's not talk about me. The point we're trying to make is about Alex and
Yes.
how he can come out of slumps quicker than most.
Carlos takes that last pitch for a strike. But Carlos batting behind Bregman yesterday. It was his first multi-hit game of the month for Alex.
It definitely makes the lineup different when you see Correa there. I mean, it just does. Whether he gets hits or not, it makes a difference. I've had that conversation with George a ton. George, when number 4 walks up there, the only thing everybody's thinking about is that World Series.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, like, you're the dude, man. Nobody wants to get taken deep the first bat of the game. There's that pitch again.
Trying to bring it back over the outside corner.
Good job by Charlie to strand an opening double last inning.
He looks stressed, huh?
It's about him.
How often do you talk to Charlie?
Every time I get a chance.
Do you really? He's one of the best.
He's great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one.
3-1 pitch just missed it. Fly ball to right.
2019 season tickets are now on sale. Fans who purchase season tickets now enjoy immediate benefits, including guaranteed 2018 postseason priority access. For more info, visit Astros.com/season tickets or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
In this inning, we've seen Wade LeBlanc get behind Bregman and Correa 3-1. And both times they fly out to right.
And that's what happens is, like we talked about earlier about guy not throwing that hard, you start to think a little bit more. What do I want to do with this ball instead of just reacting or selling yourself out on one thing? This is what I'm going to do no matter what the count is. That's what he's looking for right there.
Ground ball to short. Segura with the play for the final out of the inning. A 1-2-3 third for Wade LeBlanc. By Nolan Ryan Beef. Enjoy all the $1 hot dogs you can eat this Tuesday when the Astros open up a series with the Rockies. To get tickets for the next $1 dog game, visit astros.com/$dogs or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. On to the fourth inning we go. Todd Kalish, Jeff Blum, Jeff Bagwell, Bart Ennis. Glad he could join us on this Saturday night. Astros looking for their first win of this series. Lead things 2-0 as Denard Span leads off. 2, 3, and 4 in the Mariners lineup. Span struck out his first time up.
TK, I was thinking about you last weekend. I was in Cooperstown, and I was thinking about your father and how awesome that would have been to be there and listen to him speak. I mean, I just love your dad's voice. It's just amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, and he's just he was such a nice guy. I really was. I was sitting there going, man, I would love to hear Callis right now. That'd be fun.
It was such a cool moment, and similar to you last year, 2002, Dad didn't love all the attention. He's such a humble guy, and he's like, why is everybody doing this for me? So
yeah, but
it was a little bit awkward for him, to be honest, but it was a great weekend.
I know, and the great thing about it, like your dad, is like I'm a kid and all I listen to is Red Sox games. And I know who your father is, and I know his voice, and I remember how he used to come down and see me before games when we played in Philly. It was just an iconic voice that, his knowledge, and I mean, it was when I was sitting there going, man, I would have loved to have seen Harry.
Thanks. Yeah, I know it was cool. Bob Costas went in this year, and was it different for you this time around?
It was. It was a lot more relaxing. I mean, they got you doing stuff, but other than that, you're just hanging out. I mean, I sat next to George Brett he's got no socks on. He's got he's dipping, and I'm like,
during the ceremony.
Yeah, this must be awesome. I mean, he's been there for 150 years. I will tell you this. There's one time celebrities, whoever, either your music or TV guys or whatever, I generally don't get that. I mean, they're all people just like me. But I was standing up there getting ready to go out, and I was standing next to George Brett and Mike Schmidt. And I was like, whoa, this is like the best third baseman of all time. I'm like, wow. So I was a little giddy about that. But I got over it real quick when George had no socks and no dipping. But he's amazing. He's the only guy that's ever really made me nervous in baseball.
Just random who you sit next to? You sat next to Brett this year?
Yeah,
and who else? Ground ball back to Charlie. Throws too short. Nice play by Correa on a little bit of a wide throw. Correa maintaining the bag.
That was a pretty remarkable play all the way around. Yeah. Charlie's not a guy who moves off the mound very well. That ball was kind of squirrely off the bat of Segura.
Right off the end.
Yeah,
went back
a little bit.
Nice play.
Lost his footing. Carlos coming across the bag. It's nice to see the Astros turning some double plays instead of having it turned again. Yeah.
But that play Marvin's done a great job over there. But that's the kind of stuff that you see why Carlos is one of the best players in our game because of that.
Yep.
I mean, just seeing it makes you appreciate everything that he does over there. And I don't think Carlos gets enough credit for him at shortstop. I think he's a great shortstop.
We've been watching him all year, and this by far to me is his best defensive year. He's really improved that first step in his range.
And TK, I'll tell you, man, and you guys know this, these guys work at it. This is not like just, they throw themselves out there. I mean, Joe's got him out there early here. In spring training, they're taking double plays all the time. They work hard at what they do. So for me, as an ex-player and as a fan, I love to see that. I love to see guys with dedication, work ethic. I enjoy that. That's why I love this team so much.
Because their superstars work hard. Yuli with a diving attempt on an 0-2 pitch to Nelson Cruz that he sends into center field. Yuli almost came up with a great catch.
Yeah, if they're not in a shift, he doesn't have an opportunity for that. He got more glove on it than I thought he could.
That was hit that hard.
I was going to say it almost took his glove off.
Go ahead, give it to us.
You want the exit velocity?
I can't wait. Go ahead. The exit velocity and the exit velocity off his glove.
It's definitely going to slow down off his glove, but I can't estimate that.
Base hits what got him to hit.
Trigonometry's not that good.
Here's Kyle Seager. That ball's hit well to center field. Tony Kemp on the move, still on the move. And that's going to one hop off the top of the fence. Nelson Cruz will be waved home. And The relay throw is not handled cleanly as Cruz scores on the double by Seager. Two bad breaks there. The ball almost bounced into the bullpen, and then the relay throw did not go smoothly, and the Astros may have had a shot.
Fastball crept back down and in. Big key is getting that first relay in there. You can see everybody making the adjustment just out of the outstretched arm of Carlos Correa.
Yeah,
who I feel really had an
He
opportunity
had a
with
shot.
Nelson Cruz running. Yeah.
You know how much Carlos loves throwing off that gun, and he wanted to make that play.
Trust me, I am straight envy of that arm and the guy to my right. It would take me 17 hours to throw a ball that far as that one that just came back. I had to go throw it 3 feet, pick it up, throw it 3 feet, pick it up, throw it.
This ball smoked to right field, and all the way back goes Reddick near the wall. It's off the wall. 1 run will score. It's a tie game as Chris Herman's digging for 3. Correa gets to throw off the arm here. Scoots by Bregman. RBI triple by Herman. All this damage coming with 2 outs. There's a 2-out 0-2 pitch to Nelson Cruz that got the rally started.
3 hardest hit balls by Seattle Mariners are in this inning. Josh having to come all the way into center field to pick that ball up. Carlos finally had a chance with that second hop, short hopped Alex Bregman. He catches that, he might have an opportunity, but it popped up on him.
Single, double, triple, and successive hitters for the Mariners, and now here's Ryan Healy. Healy doubled down the line his first time up.
Well, they did what they're supposed to do. You get mistakes, you got to hit them, especially against guys like Charlie. I guarantee you at least 2 of those balls were right down the middle, weren't they?
Oh, yeah, definitely. The one that Seager was?
Yeah, Seager for sure. A lot there. Herman, too.
For the one Nelson Cruz rifled back up the middle was.
And that's what it is. You know, and you guys know, Blummy, you were a great fastball hitter. It doesn't matter how hard you throw. But if you can't locate it and it's down the middle, you guys are going to kill that ball. Any pitcher will tell you that. I mean, middle at 95 to 97. Imagine you can handle that.
Yeah.
Now you start sticking it like on the outer third or into third, things change up a little bit.
I think the frustrating at bat would be the one to Cruz where he got ahead and then left one up on him in the zone.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and that's going to happen. But the good news with generally with guys like Charlie, you know, and our guys is sometimes they can make a mistake in the middle of the plate because of their velocity. But Nelson Cruz, as we talked about earlier, he's no slouch. And Seager's not either. He's not having the year that he's had before, but he's a good. I mean, I'm concerned when he's at home plate in big situations. I like him as a player.
Healy lays off the breaking ball outside. It's 2-2.
Now Seager's been a thorn in the Astros side over the years, and even though he steps in there with a, what was it, a 230, 228 average, you still treat him as if he's that guy that's hitting 280, 20 and 100 every year.
Yeah, you still got to treat what's on the name of the bat.
Exactly.
Because you never know when he might show up.
He's been hitting well on the road this year for the Seattle Mariners. Breaking ball is down the line and left, and this ball is just foul.
Dodged one right there. He hung that.
Yes, he did.
Some balls being hit hard in this inning, but they are mistakes. So in that sense, you do need to give the Mariners credit for being on some of those pitches, even in 2-strike counts.
Yeah. Well, now the pitch is, if he can throw his 2-seamer in, I would say that he's got no shot. But I don't know if that's what he'll throw.
Yeah, because you kind of feel that the bat speed is on 80, 82. Then you can bring the 96 in on the hands.
Not that one. Not if it's a 2-seamer.
Down the first base line, fair ball, and that's going to score another run. Healy digging for second. Reddick's throw is in time, out at second base. Strong throw and a nice tag by Correa, but the Mariners take a lead.
roster updates and more. Learn more at RBIGame.com. Rated E for everyone.
We head to the bottom half of the fourth inning. Astros trailing for the first time tonight. 4 consecutive hits by Seattle with 2 outs in the fourth. And the M's lead at 3-2. Marwin Gonzalez will lead things off. Facing Wade LeBlanc for the second time. LeBlanc struck out Marwin his first time up. LeBlanc normally goes a little more heavy with the 4-seamer first time through the lineup, but tonight he's been more cutters and changeups than 4-seamers to the Astros.
Yeah, but you reeled off some numbers of how he's done with us, so he's got to try something different against us. So that's just a game plan thing. And to me, if I'm LeBlanc, I gotta make right-handers beat me to right field.
Just keep that.
I just think it's real hard.
Away.
I think it's real hard. And you know what? I saw Mike Hampton do this when he was at his best. He threw an 89-mile-an-hour sinker for a ball. He threw an 87-mile-an-hour for a sinker for a ball, and then he got 2-0, and he threw an 84 one, and he ground out to short. Serious.
Steve Sparks talks about that all the time, just changing velocity on that fastball.
Sparky threw a fastball?
He talks about it.
Okay, I wasn't sure about that.
Never really threw one.
Kidding, Sparky. Love you too.
Another big crowd tonight at Minute Maid Park. Crowds have been outstanding all year long. Had the 11th sellout of the season last night. Heavy on the changeup.
So the age-old question is, now what? If you're Marlon, he's got to come in. If he comes in and you're wrong, you're going to do the same thing you did. So I'm just thinking away still. That's what he did.
Changed him up all the way through the at-bat as he gets a strikeout for his 4th strikeout.
No player does more is presented by AGB, one of Baggy's ex-teammates in 2004, coming over in a big trade from Kansas City. Absolutely lit it up in the 2004 playoffs in 12 games. It's hard to believe those numbers came up in 12 games. 21 runs scored, 8 home runs, 14 RBIs.
Unbelievable.
6 bags.
I've never seen anything like it.
I mean, there's 5 tool players, and then there's Carlos Beltran because he could switch hit.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that part, but you're right. So there's 6.
I mean? Yeah.
As Brad Osmus would ask him, which way is the wind blowing out in BP? He said everywhere. Right-handed, left-handed, it didn't matter. You get it out anywhere. I had a front row seat for that 8 home run thing. It was absolutely. There's one part in there where he hits a home run against St. Louis, and I'm walking up to home plate while he's passing me, and I looked. You can see me looking down to Matheny, and I'm going, "This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life."
Yeah, you just got to sit back and appreciate it.
And he had like 4 more after that. Yeah, it was awesome.
Crazy part about that is a lot of guys end up playing in 3 different playoff series to get to the records.
Oh, yeah.
Beltran has the record for most runs in the postseason. He only played in 2 series in 12 games. So guys have played 18.
TK, I'm telling you, I've never seen anything like that.
21 runs. 21 runs. 8 of them he drove in himself.
Oh, yeah.
I imagine you might see him on the porch in Cooperstown someday.
I would be front center. I would love to see that. He's a hell of a baseball player. I mean, he was great. And let me tell you something. As a person, too, it doesn't get much better than Carlos. If you don't like Carlos, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, he's definitely good people. He had a huge impact on that team last year.
Brought up Mike Schmidt and George Brett as you were getting ready to walk out on stage. Schmidt was my guy growing up.
Yeah,
That's who I loved watching all those days in Philly.
Oh, yeah. Michael Jack Smith, somebody called that.
Michael Jack. Oh, the glove, and he catches it in the air. LeBlanc hangs with it and gets to put out on Yuli Gurriel.
Tip drill.
Made that look like it was nothing.
So you said the mindset, well, now it's Josh, a lefty, but for the righty hitter, it should be just.
If you look at how the game's going, and so this is a big thing that I have with any players. Watch the game. You can go back and look at your swing, whatever you want to do, 18 times, but watch what's going on in the game. You can see that he's making a conscious effort to throw off-speed stuff and even cutters away. So unless you got to get to 2 strikes, man, you got to look something out there and adjust. And you can adjust because you can't throw by you in there. Tony Kemp showed you that, and that was an inning ago.
I think that's what's interesting about this ball club too, is even with all the data, the analytics, the video replay, they still talk a lot, because we'll see a lot of guys hit a home run, come around, touch home plate, high five, and immediately he's giving the guy on deck information.
That's exactly right. I've seen the same thing.
Because that's what I remember a lot about when I was playing, is that there were conversations. Jeff Kent was one of the more amazing guys for me to talk to. He would literally go through one AB and then tell you, that in my next 2 ABs, I'm going deep. And he would call the pitch, because he'd try and set these guys up to be able to get the pitch he wanted. But the conversations need to be, to be there.
Those are the things that we need as hitters. We need help. I mean, I talk about my life. My life, I need adult supervision all the time. But in baseball, we need a team effort. And you might see something that I didn't pick up beforehand, or something that I was so out of my mind, I'm like, oh, that was a changeup 2-0 like it was to the last 3 guys.
Yeah.
You got to know those kind of things, because we're not that good. Pitchers don't understand that. We are not that good. If we hit 330, we're like one of the best hitters in the league.
Well, and hitters don't go up there and look nasty, hit nasty. Hitters go up there and look for a pitch, hit the mistake.
That's what we have to hit.
Yeah.
Because we can't hit the other stuff.
Nasty is impossible.
No. Altuve can. Jeff Kent can. Carlos Beltran could.
Yeah.
Lance Berkman. Those kind of guys. I need all the edge I can get.
To your point about the game plan for LeBlanc, looking at his spray chart on Baseball Savant tonight, of his 53 pitches to right-hand hitters, 43 have been outside half or off the plate.
That would tell you something. But you don't even need to have that spray chart. You should be watching the game. I mean, you can have that. That's great. And we can look at, oh, by the way, he did this. Well, no, you needed to know that in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th inning.
Yeah.
Just paying attention, going, what's he doing? Oh, he's cutting it out. Oh, he's cutting it to the backside, not cutting it in. He's throwing his changeup out there. Barely has I seen a ball in yet. And if it is, it's cut.
I was going to say, and he's pretty even split between the 2-seam fastball and the cut fastball.
There's the cut right there.
Into center field. Brady is there in a 1-2-3 inning. That's now 8 in a row sent down by LeBlanc, and it's the Mariners leading 3-2. Where you get the lowest prices every day, and delivery is fast and easy. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by Nissan, innovation that excites. 5th inning baseball. Jeff Bagwell in the booth with us tonight alongside Jeff Blum. Bart Ennis down in the camera well, as we have D. Gordon leading things off in the 5th inning. First time we've had Baggy in the booth since the Hall of Fame inductions in 2018. A lot of guys going in this year.
It was. They did a great job, too. All their speeches were great. Enjoyed it very much. It's nice to see people go in. You know, maybe I don't know how the speeches were when I was there. But the nice part about that this year is I got to actually listen instead of worrying about my speech, if I'm sweating, or whatever. So it was nice to see those guys. That was the fun part for me.
Here's Guillermo Heredia with 1 out and nobody on. Heredia lined out to Yuli Gurriel his last time up. Charlie allowing 5 hits in this game, 4 of them consecutively to end the 4th.
What happened there? What happened there?
On the ground back to Charlie on 1 hop. And there's 2 quick outs in the 5th. The 2 out space is empty. Here's Mitch Haniger.
Do they have any, you guys can tell me this. Do they have any stats on how many hits our guys have given up compared to other 5 starters or whatever? Like we have to be waiting. I mean, we never give up. If we give up 5 or 6 or 7 hits, that's like a lot.
The starting numbers are by far the best in all of baseball.
Yeah, consistently over the year.
Nobody's close.
Can't imagine.
And here we are.
29 other teams have given up well over 400 runs. The Astros haven't given up 400 runs yet.
I believe that.
Everybody else had given up.
But even the hits.
Right.
We give up like 5, 6 hits a game, maybe, even in losses.
Batting average against has been the best in baseball. No, they're on, and they've the same 5 guys to this point all year long, which nobody else has done.
Well, and here's the good news. Like we said, we talked about earlier about our pitching staff. If our pitching staff stays healthy and out there, we always have a chance to win. Better, I like our chances. Put it that way.
Especially when it comes to postseason.
Yes, I do.
2-1 the count.
And I am biased, but I think I'm right. We have the best manager too, so he does a little bit of everything. You know, he has his analytics, he has his own personal feelings, and he's got a feel for the game, what's going on out there. That's why I think he's the best at what he does.
It's amazing how the game has transformed a little bit for managers. They've got to be full-time psychologists, I feel like.
Oh, there's no doubt. That's what you are.
Get these guys to play their best for 162 games.
Try a hitting coach for 2.5 months.
I put you to the test. I was on that team.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
You saw me come through the door, and I know panic hit you.
No, I was good with you. Just make sure he's hitting left-handed.
So that's where you.
No, I've been always supportive of Lummy hitting right-handed.
He has.
Swing and a miss. Charlie with a strong 5th inning, including a strikeout to end it.
Well, there's a fastball down and away. Then he does that one with the cutter out there. does it again, stays out. The key is watch his shoulder stay square. Even when he steps towards the bucket, his shoulder stays square. And then he stays on that pitch. He's seen it. He saw a cutter out there and a changeup. Stayed with that approach away. And that ball was actually off the plate that he hit for a base hit away.
Tyler White driving in both runs in this game for the Astros and now leads off in the bottom half of the 5th inning.
See, when you're open like Tyler is, you really have to keep your shoulder in there because your front move is not towards the pitcher. It's actually going more a little bit towards the shortstop. But that's fine if you keep your shoulder square. You still have a base to hit behind. As long as you don't, those hands, like Blemmy and I talked about, your hands travel with your body. That's when you get in trouble. You see how his front side leaked a little bit that way and the bat kind of dropped when he took the pitch? So now he sees it. Now he gets to make that adjustment and keep the same philosophy he did that last at bat. Look where those pitches are.
3 more away or middle away. All 4 outside. LeBlanc, a 4-pitch walk to start this inning. Second walk issued by the Seattle left-hander.
Good stuff right there by Whitey. He had a good at-bat right there. After what he had before, he stayed in where he needed to be, did a good job of not chasing.
He did a good job, but I was a little surprised that Wade LeBlanc didn't even try and come to that inner third.
Where have we seen it? How many times have we seen it?
He's not even trying to go in there to set guys
that's
up
what,
open up that
yeah, and that's what
outside
TK was just showing us with all those things.
Yep.
I mean, if he's going to go in there, he's going to cut it in there.
But if you know he's only going to go in there sparingly,
I'm not
why
worried
even
about
offer?
it. Not worried about it.
Just hope he leaks it out over the middle part of the plate, and then he drops some head on it.
See, to be honest with you, if you get 2-0 and a guy that's pitching away like that all the time and you're not really concerned with it, most lefties generally, when they think they have you leading, are going to come in, so they would be the same on a 2-0 pitch. That's when a hitter, you can sit out and say, I'm waiting for a cutter in. If I don't get it, I'm taking it.
Yep.
But what you also have to say is I got to make sure it's a strike in there, otherwise you jam yourself with it. And then throw that away. If he doesn't, then you got to look away again. It's just a constant battle. Hitting, that's what hitting is crazy, man. It's a constant battle up there where you have to compete. Did I mention the 8 other fielders that are out there?
In this day and age, the 8 other athletes that are out there.
Well, think about my last few years of my career. All the shift was on both sides.
Yeah.
There was 14 people on the left side and 14 people on the right side.
Yeah, they put more guys out there the better you hit.
They did. I had no chance. See, Stassi swung at that pitch twice already.
Yep. The only 2 pitches that LeBlanc has missed inside the righties have been 2 curveballs.
Curveballs.
There's not been a fastball that has been in off the plate all game long.
I guarantee you, the hitters would like to see more curveballs in there because it's not like a sharp one. It's like a get me over one.
Strikes out on the changeup. That is strikeout number 5 for LeBlanc.
Get Out and Play is presented by Toyota. Tony Kemp at home this season, putting up great numbers in front of the fans here at Minute Maid Park. Moving up to that top spot in the lineup, getting some clutch hits too with runners in scoring position. What you love is it's 16 RBIs to go with those 12 runs scored, but the on-base percentage almost at 460. Pretty impressive numbers for Tony Kemp.
Yeah, he's done a great job. He really has.
Tony, a couple of flyouts tonight. Flied out to center, flied out to right.
Base hit and a bomb.
Right back in it.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about TK for a hit, then Bregman moved on.
Slowly hit towards first. Healy will make the play to second. They get the fielder's choice for the second out of the inning.
It's a good play by the first baseman there, not trying to make it too fancy. Set his feet and get a good throw over there because he wanted to get Tony Kemp at first.
That's one where you know the speed of the hitter coming out of the box. So if it's a slower guy, you might make a little quicker move.
Right.
Here's Alex Bregman.
But there's always a pitcher. So the worst comes to worst, you can blame the pitcher for not getting over there.
They exchanged Tyler White for Tony Kemp. Now you've got a ball in the gap. Tony Kemp can score.
Something good gonna happen here.
Feel it?
Yeah.
They use a changeup in the dirt. It's 1-0.
It's definitely been the changeup this inning. He threw 4 straight to Max Stassi to get him to strike out.
Good take there.
No, that's what I'm real impressed with Alex, is to be able to lay off that pitch right there.
Because you saw his first move was like, I'm going to kill it.
Yep, that's exactly what he's thinking.
Yeah, it's a good job.
But I love the fact that he's thinking about crush first, take second.
That's what he is. I promise you that.
Hooks the ball down the line. Home run distance, but foul.
Gosh, it feels like that pitch is never going to get there sometimes. And then Alex recognized that immediately out of the hand.
And that's the thing. What happens with him, he gets too quick because he is too quick.
He is too quick.
He's quick.
I agree.
That's too quick. He is quick. And that's a gift, because if he can throttle it back with those hands, it'll be a good one for a long time.
Stairs 3-1, same count he had last time up.
See, that was that cutter we talked about. He's going to go in there with a cutter. He's not going in there with anything more.
Yeah, there's going to be a little bit of movement.
He's got to move it in towards the hitter instead of on the plate.
Yep. I agree with you with Alex. I think what we're seeing is he could be this guy for a long time. He doesn't rely on infield hits. He's just a good professional hitter with pop.
Yep. And really, and that's the only thing you have to do as a hitting coach. And Hudgy knows this as well as anybody, that he has to remind himself not to let the ball travel. He doesn't need to go get the ball. Just let it, and everything else that he works out in the cage will take over it for itself. And Alex's key on that is when you see him pulling a ton of balls down the third baseline, foul.
Popped up, shallow left, coming on Span. Out goes Segura. It's Span, the left fielder, who puts it away. And the Astros are out in the fifth. Seattle leading after 5, 3-2.
hand-me-downs, RBI machine. If you know who that Astro is, make sure you tweet your answers to @ATT Sportsnet SW, and stay tuned later in this ball game when we will reveal who that is. Looks like he's got a pretty interesting lid on.
Yeah, I saw that.
Sixth inning baseball, 3-2 game. Charlie facing the 2-3-4 hitters. Starting out with Denard Span. Span leads off with a swing in the left field for a base hit. But Denard, a leadoff base runner for the second straight time he's been up.
This was good hitting right there.
He's done a nice job for them since coming over in a trade in late May.
He's solid. He really is. Go deep. He hit a home run against us.
Yeah, he got Justin with that fastball center in the middle part of the plate, turned on it.
Here's Gene Segura. He can be dangerous, but today he's grounded into 2 double plays against Charlie Morton. That one was right back to Charlie as he takes a called strike.
So we talked about the home run derby and all that. Well, Segura was hitting like 330 something, wasn't he? Into the All-Star break.
Yep.
Almost 340.
Yep. Yeah, you're right.
And he wasn't in the home run hitting. I mean, that's just the, you know, it's the ebb and flows of a baseball season, how it works. He can rattle off 40 hits in a month.
Well, I was going to say, it's the guys that are very good have very small slumps.
But your point is, it's not just the guys that are in the Derby, it's guys that are in the All-Star game in general, because it's almost impossible to maintain that pace.
Exactly right.
And Segura has struggled a little bit more lately. He's around the bunt here and bunts it foul. It's 0-2.
He got his finger. Brought that hand up the bat, right around that label.
That can't feel good.
No. I think that's what that face says. He got hit by a pitch yesterday on the back of that left hand, so he's been getting beat around a little bit.
But here's the difference. If he got hit on a regular pitch, he'd be crawling around. But when he tried and bunt, he's embarrassed now.
Yeah, he's trying to play it off a little bit.
Yeah, he's just embarrassed.
Foul staying alive at the plate. Segura was the fan vote. He was the last player named to the All-Star team. He was the last member of the American League All-Stars. And then for a while there, it looked like he was going to win the MVP.
Yeah.
A couple of hits and a home run until the National League tied it. And then Alex Bregman would go on and win it, along with George Springer. Ball into left center field, slicing back towards Tony Kemp, who makes the play for out number 1.
What was the location on that pitch? That bounce?
Almost.
We talked about Joe West earlier. I think Blummy, you agree with this. I mean, that's part of the game that is just fun. You know, they talk about you know all these guys now that are hitting 200 again. They're complaining about the strike zone, and they want, you know, like a tennis thing where it beeps if it's a strike and all that. I mean, for me, the umpire stuff. Look at that pitch.
That's unbelievable.
That would have bounced.
That would have been a sac fly too, as far as he hit it.
Stassi was going down to block it.
Yeah, but just the interaction you get with guys, and even guys when I leave here, some the umpires are coming, you know, in or out. I mean, there's been relationships for a long time, man, and I enjoy those relationships, and I don't want to see stuff like that go away.
You know what's interesting about that is I've done the same thing where you run into an umpiring crew that's coming in or going out underneath in these tunnels, and I've actually had a couple of crews. I'll catch up with them. We won't tell stories again, but I go. I would ask him, what if I came down to your umpire's locker room and said, hey, can I come in and just have a chat with you guys? He goes, do it.
Exactly.
They want that conversation. They enjoy it just as much as we do.
Nelson Cruz goes opposite field for a base hit. Span and Cruz with singles the other way, and the Mariners have runners on first and second and 1 out.
Tell you what, with the amount of damage that Nelson Cruz can do, you're almost happy with it. He just kind of pokes one the other way.
But see, for me, like Nelson Cruz did that, so everybody's like, well, he didn't hit a home run. Is everybody going to be mad at him for hitting a single? Now it's first and second? No.
More base runners, the better.
The second thing is, today, when guys throw as hard as this, when we talked about this earlier, that philosophy, you don't have to think that hard to hit it over there because the ball is generating all the speed coming at that velocity into home plate. So I just got to get on the right swing path, and I can do stuff like that, especially if there's nobody standing there.
Astros get their bullpen moving for the first time tonight. Joe Smith, the righty, Tony Sipp, the lefty. And pitch to Kyle Seager's outside for ball one. Seager doubled in the Mariners' first run in the fourth inning. All the Mariners offense coming with 2 outs and nobody on in the fourth after Segura hit into a double play. Cruz on an 0-2 pitch singled up the middle. Seager doubled off the wall and right. Berman tripled off the wall and right.
Yeah, this portion of the lineup has done some damage. Now you see a little bit of Tony Kemp playing to the pull side, and that's why spray chart tells you that the last 100 baseballs that Seager's put in play have been up the middle or to that pull side.
Now it's 3-0. Seager with 43 of his 63 runs batted in on the year in road games. He has hit much better away from Safeco Field. On the ground, Yuli down to the ground. One, the turn in time, double play. Yuli to Carlos Correa to Tyler White, and Charlie Morton gets out of the inning.
Ground Chuck getting that big ground ball when he needs it. The shift working out. Yuli with a great play, and then the strong arm of Correa finishes it off for Charlie Morton and gets that offense back in the dugout, still trailing by 1. Nissan family tree, hand-me-downs, RBI machine. Who could it be? Moises Alou. Pretty strong bloodline in Major League Baseball. Never used batting gloves in 3 straight seasons with at least 108 RBI with the Astros. One of the pure hitters in the game.
Christmas morning, you get 2 hits. I promise you that. He can just hit.
Yeah,
and knows it too.
He's the guy that if you did have a home run derby and he showed up, he'd win it.
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter.
He would barrel it up in a heartbeat.
It doesn't matter. He could hit everybody. Good, bad, doesn't matter. And don't even try and throw a fastball by him.
Nope.
Nope. I don't care what count it is.
New pitcher for the Mariners, Wade LeBlanc, goes 5 innings, allowed a couple of runs, is Nick Vincent.
Yeah, they must have been pretty happy getting Wade LeBlanc that many times through the lineup. Now they're handing it off to the bullpen. Second time we've seen Nick Vincent in this series. Doesn't throw hard, throws a lot of cutters, and relies on movement.
He was stepped out about 4 minutes ago. And now he's mad. Come on, man. He's going through his checklist out there. Oh, by the way, that's Carlos Correa.
Yeah, maybe that's what put him off the mound.
Vincent faced the first 5 hitters in the Astros lineup on Thursday, game 1 of this series, but Carlos Correa not in the lineup that night. Did allow a run on a double by Tyler White. Carlos down in the count 0-2. You miss a month and change, as Carlos did, even though he had a 5-game rehab assignment. It's going to be a little timing issue, you would think, at the very beginning.
Yeah, there's not that much of a difference between Corpus and here. I mean,
A little bit.
yeah, I mean, it's a whole different ball game. But Carlos is going to be fine. He'll get his timing in. And like I said earlier, just him being in the lineup helps. We've seen what he's done defensively already. Of course, I'm more impressed with Yuli more than anybody. We don't need
Now he's playing
Altuve
second.
Yeah. we got Yuli.
He's looking really good shifting over to second base. Swing and a miss. Vincent able to get Correa for the first out of the 6th inning.
I can speak from experience right there. You don't want to come back from a month on the DL and get cutters. That is not a fun pitch, even in your best of times.
Vincent throws more cutters than any other pitch, and now he'll face Evan Gattis.
Gat can handle this.
Gattis does have 1 hit against him. It is a home run in 5 at-bats.
I feel like we say that a lot about Evan Gattis.
Yeah.
Doesn't have big average numbers against guys, but he's got several guys in his book.
To center field, Heredia in front of the track has room for the second out. The 2-out space is empty. That'll bring up Marwin Gonzalez. Marwin, after a couple of home runs against Wade LeBlanc in Seattle in his last start, is 0 for 2 tonight. A couple of strikeouts. Now batting left-handed for the first time.
It's not bad. 2 for 4 with 2 homers, 2 punch-outs.
And a called strike. The reason the Mariners are in the thick of things in the American League West is because they have won so many 1- and 2-run games. Their bullpen's done a great job in 2018.
Tons. The first 2 months, it was like 20-some games, 1-run games, something like that.
Marwin tries to bunt his way on, and Healy is there, and he will tag him out. Marwin tries to knock the ball out of his glove for the final out of the inning. 1-2-3 inning for Vincent out of the bullpen.
by your local Ford dealers. And tonight, that power pitcher, a guy you may remember, his name is Larry Durker. Pitched 13 years for this team, also managed this team. But in July of 1976, no-hit the Montreal Expos, the only no-hitter of his great career. Larry Durker joining me now. That's 42 years ago, almost exactly. What do you remember about that night?
I became a power pitcher again. You know, Bart, I had a couple no-hitters in the 9th inning earlier in my career, and I really thought I might pitch a no-hitter any time because I could be overpowering. At that point, I was just trying to hang on and play as long as I could. I was throwing sidearm, and my arm hurt. And about the 7th, maybe the 8th inning, I started getting an adrenaline kick. And even though I didn't have the same delivery, the ball was jumping out of my hands, and I was throwing it by people upstairs. And that's all I did. You know, I said, the last one I'd lost was an infield hit. So I said, it's going to be strikeout, fly ball, or home run. I'm not going to throw a ground ball anymore. And I became a power pitcher for 2 innings, and it worked.
And Jose Cruz, playing in place of an injured Cesar Cedeno, made a couple of nice plays for you in center field.
J.O. made a nice play in right center field on a ball hit by Jerry Morales that might have gone out of some ballparks. Enos Cabell made a pretty good play coming in on a bare hand swinging bunt play from third base. There was nothing that was so extraordinary that, you know, it would be an over and over replay, but there were 3 really good plays.
You made your major league debut at the age of 18, which I find amazing.
So do I. You know, if I think back, I don't know how he did it.
How did you do it?
I don't know.
Yeah. And you debuted against the San Francisco Giants with Willie Mays, Willie McCovey, and that whole group.
Well, you know, in high school, obviously I was good enough to get a good bonus, and they knew potential was there, but I didn't have a slider. They taught me that. I only had 1 fastball, 4-seam. They taught me to throw a sinker. So by the time I came out of the instruction league in Florida, I had 3 pitches I could get over the plate, and I wasn't afraid. I don't know why I wasn't afraid, maybe just being naive, but I went after them with what I had, and it was good enough.
I know you mentioned that watching this team beat the Dodgers in the World Series last year was a real thrill. It was a thrill to see the Astros win the World Series, but for you and the teams that came after you in the 80s, where that rivalry was so intense, it had to put a smile on your face that it was the Dodgers that they beat.
It did, and it wasn't just the 80s with Tommy Lasorda. It went back to the 60s and 70s, where every time I pitched, I had to go against Koufax or Drysdale or Sutton. And it seemed like if I pitched well, I'd lose 2-1 or 1-0. And then when I wouldn't pitch well, I'd lose. And I just never could win out there. And then when it got to be Garvey and all the pretty boy Hollywood kind of stuff, you know, we respected the Reds and the Big Red Machine. But the Dodgers, there was just something about them. And so it was especially sweet for me to be able to do it, not only do it anyway after so long, but Red Sox, Yankees, and especially Dodgers. Yeah. It was sweet.
Good stuff. Dirk, we appreciate the time very much. Okay. So good to see you.
All right. Thanks, Bart.
Everybody remembers what a power pitcher this guy was. 5 years he was the manager of this team, and 4 of those 5 years they won the division title. Guys, back to you.
Dirk? Well, that sums it all up right there. When he mentioned the pretty boy Dodgers like that, I've always loved Dirk. I love him even more now. That's what I'm talking about right there. Dirk was great. He was a great manager. We had a blast. Dirk let us be us.
What made him such a good manager?
He just let us take care of everything in the clubhouse.
You guys
and all he cared about is go out and play hard. And he was great for our pitching staff. We had a good pitching staff, but when guys got in trouble, Dirk was a starting pitcher. He said, go ahead and get yourself out of this trouble. And I think it helped a lot of guys in their career having to pitch for Larry, because he was that starting pitcher who he didn't want to lose that game 2-1. He didn't want to lose a game 1-0. He wanted to be out there with a chance to win every day. Considering he had pitched already 6 or 7 innings, he wanted a chance to win that. And I think that helped our staff.
That was great. It was perfect timing in his career, too, to be a manager at that point. These days, pitchers aren't allowed to go much more than 110 pitches.
They're not. And, you know, that's okay. You know, I'm trying to get my way around the old school stuff into the new stuff, which I think you can do a little bit of both. But you see that. I mean, I spent a weekend with all those guys, you know, they don't like the pitch count stuff and all that, which is fine. I mean, guys like them, you know, they'd throw 150, 160 pitches a game. It wouldn't, you know, be no big deal. But with the bullpen now and how we're, you know, with the arms we have in the bullpen, you know, and that's like, put it this way, nobody's ever going to hit 56 straight games again. Right. You can't do it because you're not going to see a starter out there, for 4 times through the lineup when the guy's already given up 7 runs. You're going to have to face some guy in the bullpen. You might face the guy 4 different guys in 4 different plate appearances. It's just a different game now.
No one's going to ever throw 20 CGs like Dirk did again. That's never going to happen.
I know, it's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
No, it's not going to happen.
So, yeah,
and that's fine.
Different game.
It's fine.
Yeah, I think the Justin Verlanders and Garrett Coles of the world probably would have fit in
got a leash.
back in
there's no doubt
back
about
in those days too. And
they're doing what they're told to do.
Right.
And go out and give you everything you got for that. That thing, and that's fine. I mean, you saw with the Dodgers in the World Series last year. Guys were getting taken out in the 5th inning with a 1-0 game. And generally that doesn't happen that often, but that's what they do, which helped us because before the Dodgers got to the World Series, their bullpen was their strength. So when Marwin hit that home run off of Jansen, it changed everything because their bullpen for us was like, hey man, we got your best, and we did it for the rest of the series.
Tony Sipp, 2 outs and a 2-2 count on D. Gordon, who sends one up the middle for a base hit. Well, Gordon on base for the first time tonight, a 2-out base runner here in the 7th. And A.J. Hinch with a right-hand hitter coming up, and Guillermo Heredia coming out of the dugout. He's got Joe Smith warming up, and he goes to the bullpen. We'll be back with a pitching change with 2 outs in the 7th.
Play or visit AT&TSportsnet.com to stream on your computer. Log in with your cable account. You're all set. Available for those with an AT&T Sportsnet in their TV subscription. Blackouts and territorial restrictions apply.
2 outs in the 7th inning. D. Gordon on first base. Guillermo Heredia, the number 9 hitter, 2 up, and Joe Smith comes on for the Astros.
You guys want to go a percentage of D trying to steal a base?
He's got 26.
That he's going to go?
Strong.
No, that he's going to go? Yeah, he's going.
Bullpen rounding into shape. A lot of it has to do with Joe Smith doing a good job since that All-Star break with a 1-5-0.
Big lead on first for Gordon.
Yeah, I watch him on TV. I don't think I want too much of a part of that sidearm. He's got decent velocity with it too.
I would say it surprises some guys, it looks like.
Gets on you, I bet. And I don't want to, get away from what Tony Sipp has done for us this year, and come back and just pitch great. It's just something I really appreciate. I think he's grinded and he's done a great job. And AJ obviously has a lot of faith in him, and the guys do.
Gordon had a great jump. Stassi's throw goes into center, and Gordon's going to head to third.
It's going to be a tough error on Stassi. It looked like
no chance.
Yuli might have whiffed on this one. Yeah, just too good of a jump. Ball sailing up.
He did. He whiffed.
Those are just some of the things for me. Yuli's done a good job at second base.
But once you get around the bag, some things get a little bit
No
different
doubt.
with the footwork and then the runners involved.
No,
Trying
he's
to catch
not
the
used to
baseball,
that.
that's
I mean,
tough.
It's one thing you're going to move him from third to first back to third and then put him at second, which is a whole different thing. He's not used to that play.
Yeah.
You know, and he doesn't know where the runner is and where he has to land. I would imagine if you play second, when you're getting in those situations, you have to leave your feet. You got to pretty much know where you're going to land so you don't break something.
That's the biggest thing. And he's
Yeah.
already put his cleat in somebody's face
Right.
earlier this year.
Popped up on the infield. Carlos Correa is there. And Joe Smith gets the final out of the 7th inning. 7th inning stretch time here at Minute Maid Park. The Astros down 3-2. Alumni weekend here at Minute Maid Park. Great to see all those former Astros out there. You saw what Baggy was talking about earlier about how small that ball looked in J.R. Richards' hand as he threw out that first pitch.
It's scary. It literally looked like a golf ball. And JR was wild with a nasty slider. I don't think I want too much a part of that. I mean, I ought to take my punishment like a man, but
I would think of all the pitchers through the years, he is right up there in terms of intimidation.
I think so. I've never heard somebody say, no, he didn't have that much. I never heard that.
Well, the Astros down in the bottom of the 7th inning. Yuli Gurriel leading things off, facing Nick Vincent in the 2nd inning of work. Yuli grounds one towards short. Segura is there. Yuli retired for the first out.
Got some league leaders. They're presented to you by Houston Methodist. Astros from the 7th inning on doing some damage late. Came in handy on the road trip with those guys getting some late inning damage leading to wins. 3rd in runs, 4th in average, and that slugging percentage 5th at .431.
So hopefully the Astros can get something done against this Mariners bullpen, and they make a change here with Josh Reddick 2 up. Zach Duke will take over for Nick Vincent in the 7th inning with 1 out.
Brought to you by T-Mobile. To run down the scoring for you, Astros took an early lead, 2-0 in fact, off the bat of Tyler White going the opposite way. But that didn't last long as the Seattle Mariners got things going off of Charlie Morton. And it was just one after another, 3 consecutive extra base knocks before they could finally get out of the inning. To that point, Charlie Morton had been sailing along, but the Mariners found some answers before Ryan Healy finally thrown out there at second base to end the inning. But the damage was done, and they lead at 3-2 now as we head to the 8th, guys.
All right, Bart. Josh Reddick, with 1 out in the 7th inning, takes a pitch outside for ball 1, facing Zach Duke. Reddick and Duke have matched up a couple of times recently in these Seattle and Houston matchups. Duke came on Thursday and walked Reddick as the only batter he faced. Blummer Josh got him back up in Seattle.
Yes, he did. Zach Duke's not a guy that throws very hard. You're seeing already a lot of pitches on the outside corner. He's going to try and start it on that outside edge and break it away from Josh.
Ground ball to first, and Ryan Healy will race to the bag ahead of Reddick. So Duke wins this matchup against Josh for the 2nd out of the inning.
Actually got a pretty good pitch to hit. That one stayed over the middle part of the plate.
Scott Service is going to go righty, lefty, righty as Tyler White is due up. So Duke gets Josh Reddick. That's the first time in their head-to-head matchup he's retired him in the last 5 opportunities. But Duke wins this one, and he will leave the game and a new pitcher to face Tyler. Annual Badges and Bases H-Town Rundown presented by Chenier. This family-friendly 5K and 10K benefits the Astros Foundation and the Houston Police Department. To register, visit astros.com/run. Bottom of the 7th inning, Astros will see the 3rd pitcher in 3 batters as Adam Warren is on to face Tyler White.
Warren has appeared in 28 games between the Yankees and Seattle Mariners. A couple of shutout innings against Houston this season. One of them came yesterday when he went an inning, gave up a hit and a walk, but got out of it unscathed and actually qualified for the win.
Adam Warren, long time with the Yankees, 2 different stints, had a little stretch there with the Chicago Cubs back in 2016 before he was sent back to New York, and now with the Mariners for the first time. Tyler White's been on base a couple of times, a base hit and a walk.
See, this is all part of hitting right here too. He's used to LeBlanc the last 2 times up. Now he's got to change his approach, or maybe not change the approach, but change where he's thinking. Of course, he gets one on the outside corner, which I just told him you got to change your thinking. But no, you don't want to swing at that anyway.
Warren with a heavy dosage of sliders to righties. 57.7% of the time he'll throw a slider with a righty up there. The time he misses with the fastball, and Tyler has a 2-0 count.
You know, and that's a good thing for analytic right there as a hitter. You know, if I was hitting and I'd run over to Dave Hudge and say, what? He goes, well, 57% of the time, is it 57?
Yep.
He throws sliders. Well, 1 out of 2 pitches is going to be a slider. So, and imagine it would change it depending on what the count is.
Now 2-0. Still drops in slider. It's 2-1.
See, Tyler takes some pretty good passes at sliders, though. That's what he got Edwin Diaz on in the first game here at Minute Maid Park, was a slider.
He does. And, you know, that's a pitch like the one he just swung at. That's the one you have to swing at. The first one is when you got 2 strikes. That's the one you swing and miss at. But if not, what are you going to do with that pitch? Of course, we say that up here because we get replay and everything like that. But
yeah.
2-2 the count.
He doubled up on it, but threw the nasty one on the outside corner.
He did, and it even makes it even harder because it was up. Because you're not quite sure what to do with that because you're generally panicking about balls low and away, and then you get one up. Then you really have to stay closed on that.
On the right field side foul. It stays 2-2.
So 1 out of 2. So you would imagine that this one will probably be a slider.
Showed him the fastball.
And that's his best pitch if he throws it 57% of the time. Now the question is, what does the pitcher think? I throw it in, so I mean, he throws the fastball in. But I bet he throws the slider.
Yeah, I'm with you on the slider. Good job of fighting it off.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's why they give you 3 strikes. You got to fight off some. I always said the key to part of the key of hitting is when you take a bat swing, make sure you don't put it in play. Three straight heaters. That's a real good sign, actually, because those are not easy pitches to hit right there.
Tyler's been giving a lot of good at bats in the last.
Yeah, he has. Well, you know what it is? He's getting playing time. That's what I talked about earlier, is this is going to help those guys down the road to have this experience playing almost every day.
Timing and confidence.
Yes.
There's that slider, and he lays off. It's 3-2.
Now comes the worst pitch in baseball in the 2018 season. The 3-2, what are you going to throw? There's a whole bunch of different things that can happen. But if he stays with the same approach, he'll be okay either way. Hit off the fastball like Blummy said, and adjust to everything else. On the slider.
One hopper, Seager makes the play and throws across in time to get White. So 3 different relievers get through the 7th in 1-2-3 fashion. going to win the home run derby, and the votes are in. Very close voting on the top three. P-Dubs didn't get as much love with 11%, but
I'm taking the field.
Hall of Famer.
I'm taking the field.
Taking the field in this one.
Yeah.
So you're taking the field against Bidge?
Yeah, because Bidge, you think Bidge is going to stop at 3 minutes if he's got no homers? He's going to keep hitting, I promise you. Yeah, he is.
They're just,
his name's up there. So
yeah, I was going to say, we're going to have Hall of Fame rules and then rules for everybody else.
Well, he is batting last, I heard, in the 4.
Well, then he's going to hit until he wins.
Until he gets enough to advance.
You got to know that's the kind of stuff you get in trouble from. Inside information.
So the clock may stop a couple of times while he's hitting?
Just let you know, I said it here first.
It'll be on that 1 second for like 4 or 5 minutes until he gets
it. I can't find it. Call the booth. Call the truck, I mean. You watch.
Mitch Haniger, the batter, facing the Astros' new pitcher, Roberto Osuna. Tony Sipp and Joe Smith worked the 7th, and now Osuna for the 8th. And Haniger fouls one out of play.
What's Bracamonte going to tell him? No?
Yeah, right?
Come on.
That's a good point.
So you're behind the 8 ball already, buddy. I got faith in you.
He's not even sure if he's going lefty or righty tomorrow.
I may switch it up.
He went left-handed in the Hall of Fame game.
I did.
Got a knock.
You know what's crazy? It's one thing to get ready to just go up and try and have a solid AB. It's another thing to try and get one out of the ballpark.
Yeah, you get hurt real quick.
Wow, man, I didn't need to hear that.
Oh, seriously. Body's not ready for that. You've been sitting in this chair for like what, 3 or 4 years?
I've been enjoying it. 6, yeah.
6 years?
Yeah, I've got chair body.
Well, I only started watching when you were on here, so.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, it's the truth.
You were just waiting for me to screw up.
I continue to watch every game. If you look at your if you sub TK your text messages, you don't understand.
I do every once in a while.
Shine a Light Blonde spotlight falls on our field for tomorrow for the home run derby. We've got Preston Wilson. Blummer mentioned that Oppo power. There it is right there.
It's a long way.
We've got Luke Scott. There's a little Oppo shot for Luke.
Yeah, he's got power all over the place. So
he still looks young too, so he must have just retired. There it is. Look at that down and in swing.
In Petco.
Oh, with the head down. Watch the head.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I got you.
In Petco.
Definitely going.
Maybe I'd ask Bracamonte if he could throw slider speed at me.
Nah, you can hit the fastball.
There's Bidge.
Right over the fence. That's all he cares about. 3-7-16 tomorrow.
I thought you were going to make a comment about him not stopping at second.
I'm still trying to get over the doubles. This should have been triples.
This may be a rare chance for Bidge to rebut because he might be on the broadcast tomorrow. We're working.
He can.
That'd be great.
He wants.
Yeah?
Anytime he wants.
Go right back at you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got his phone number.
I was going to say, that you two have been going at it for.
I'll get everybody's up here that I need to get in touch with.
Bernard Span with a count of 0-2. Span's been on base a couple of times, a hit batter, and a single to left his last time up. This one grounds just foul on the first base side.
Okay. So Blummy's got a whole bunch of homers to catch up. Who cares? He can do that tomorrow.
Hey,
tomorrow is career 100.
I was going to say, I only need one good day as far as home runs are concerned.
Are you putting a uniform on?
I'm not sure. Rumor has it they're making uniforms for us to wear, but I'm not sure if they're going to be the brick red, if they're going to, you know.
You need to consult with me before. I got to make sure you look good out there. When the ambulance comes out and grabs your rib cage.
I was going to say when I wear that girdle out there.
Yeah.
Osuna strikes out Bernard Span for out number 2.
Here's my scout report on Osuna, which I heard from our manager today. He throws like 4 pitches. He's actually a pitcher out there. If that makes any sense. He's not 2-pitch pitcher.
Well, for closers, you figure they're just going to go out there and throw as hard as they can.
He doesn't do that, which is kind of neat to see. What would you guys say is his best pitch besides his fastball?
Slider.
Slider.
Facing Gene Segura here. There's the fastball.
Not a very big kid.
Is he? I haven't been down there.
I saw him today, but he's kind of leaning over. I saw him when he was with Toronto before he got hurt last year. Real good stuff.
He's 23 years old. Been in the big leagues since he was 20, as Segura sends one over Correa's head for a base hit into left field. Segura 1 for 4. That's
well, there's another thing that we talked about earlier also, is location of the fastball. He was set up in and he threw it down, which we've already know that Segura can hit down after he hit that fly ball that almost bounced. And he's a good hitter.
Speaking of good hitters, Nelson Cruz 2 for 3 tonight.
But you know, I talk about all this and we're talking about all these hits, but man, it happens all the time where guys make bad pitches and guys pop it up. I mean, the chances of actually getting the hit is hard. Like I said, there's 8 guys out there plus velocity and movement. Yeah, there's your slider. It's a good pitch.
Well, the Astros had 3 hits in this game. They all came in succession back in the second inning. They have not had a hit since the second.
Well, that pitch that Osuna just threw there was nobody in the world that's going to hit that. Even Vladimir Guerrero. And the only reason I say that is because they showed that pitch. Nobody's hitting that. Forget it. Throw that again.
Yeah, that was pretty filthy.
They showed him hitting a ball that bounced on the video screen before his induction. That got the biggest cheer out of anybody. That was awesome.
Literally bounced.
It did.
Yep. So after you see those first 2 swings, you go right back to the slider?
You have to. I mean, you know, somebody say, well, he wasted. Why would you waste a pitch? There's no reason to waste a pitch on that pitch. If he lays off it, throw it again. I mean, nobody's going to hit that pitch.
I would say it looks out of the hand like
Right
it's going to be a fastball down in the zone. Then it just, as soon as you start your swing, it breaks off the plate.
Yep. Okay, so now he laid off that, like we just said. Now what? You either buzz him with a fastball or throw the same pitch again.
Yeah, you might try and stand him up.
Yeah, but it's got to be legit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd miss on the plate. I mean, excuse me, off the plate in.
Runner on the move, and he taps one towards third. Alex Bregman with the throw in time. Nice play by Bregman. Went back to the slider.
Yeah.
3-2 game.
I'd have been out too.
It includes 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, and 4 sodas. 4 packs start at only $70. Visit astros.com/Sundays for tickets and info.
We head to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Astros trying to get a rally going against this Mariners bullpen. Mariners winning game 1, 8-6. Winning last night by the score of 5-2. And both of those first 2 wins, they have gone to Alex Colomé. Colomé back out there again for his 3rd straight game.
Yeah, 3 straight games. We know that Scott Service is not afraid to go out there and use these guys, but this has been a pretty good setup closing combination between Colomé and Edwin Diaz. And in 53 games after coming over from Tampa Bay, 51 innings pitched, 52 strikeouts, 17 straight shutout appearances for Colomé. Power fastball, power slider.
scoreless streak goes all the way back to late June 30th. So he was perfect in the month of July and so far in the month of August. 21 holds during that stretch, also the most in Major League Baseball since he came over from Tampa Bay. The Astros 0 for 8 against Column A in this series. We'll try and get something going here in the 8th inning with Max Stassi, Tony Kemp, and Alex Bregman. Astros did not have a hit since the Tyler White 2 RBI base hit to right field back in the 2nd inning. Stassi 0 for 2, a couple of strikeouts. Colomé starts him off with that.
You must have watched Osuna.
That power slider. Yep. Usually throws that slider around 88. That first one came into Stassi at 91.
Saw that a couple times last night. Almost, you feel like you should be overthrowing it and it should flatten out at that velocity, but he still creates good tilt.
Colomé moving from the closer's role with Tampa Bay to the setup role for Edwin Diaz with Seattle. Slowly hit down the third base line. That's going to hit the bag. Max Stassi with an infield hit.
Speed kills. Never goes in a slump. Those are my cliches.
No chance for Seager there.
Ones that I never got.
All about location, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, there it is. Let's check exit velocity.
Hey, hits is hits.
I understand. You know, I come here once a month. I got to bring it up.
Seager thinking he might go foul.
Got a lot of the bag right there. No chance the other way, though.
So here's Tony Kemp. So the Astros with their first hit against Column A in this series. And Derek Fisher taking over as a pinch runner for Stassi.
So you can't run on that.
Can't run on that, but it also alters
It does.
the pitcher's
You're
delivery.
right. No, there's no question about it. But in this situation with Alex and the other guys coming up after this, you got to be sure that you got a good pitch. And that with that last slide step, there's a big if to make that. I think personally, you got to be pretty sure here.
Column A used to be deliberate to home plate, and now he's worked on that through his career.
Yeah, so he's a little, now the pitcher's a little uncomfortable. You got a man on first, nobody out. You got a guy that's going to give you a good at bat up there. Not only that, a guy that can run afterwards. So that could also play into Fisher's mind or AJ's mind is, well, if Fisher gets thrown out, you still got Kemp up there, but I would try and make sure that he gets a big leg kick. That's not. Like you said, TK is kind of losing the strike zone. It's not his normal.
Joe West called that a strike. I'm not sure if that was.
Yes, he did. That's amazing. That was almost a mini pitch out. MD Anderson strike zone up there.
Kemp got some bad calls against him yesterday.
That's a big call, to be honest with you.
That is a big change in this at bat from 2-0 to 1-1. There goes Fisher. Kemp swinging, ball into center field. Heredia coming on, sliding effort, and he makes the catch. Fisher will try and get back to first, but they're going to turn a double play on a fine catch in center field by Guillermo Heredia.
I think he still would have been out even if he didn't go keep going. By the time he picked that up where the ball was.
He overran that.
He did. I was
he had to reach
from
back
our angle,
to catch that.
It didn't look like he was going to catch that.
I didn't think he had any chance, but he did a great job sprinting over there to make that play. And the heads up to get up.
So he just found the ball right there.
Because you know in center field he saw movement from first base with the runner going. As soon as he makes that catch, he knows he's got a chance to pop up and get that double play.
Well, and his outfielders telling him too.
Yep.
I was surprised on this angle where we sit right here. I didn't think he was going to get to that. And being left-handed.
2 outs, bases empty for Alex Bregman, who grounds one in the hole. So the Astros with a couple of hits in this inning. And Bregman on with 2 outs.
There's the slider you're talking about, the flattened out block.
Yep, overthrew it a little bit. Alex did a good job of getting out there and getting the head out on it. But a great job of extending this inning, even with 2 outs. With Carlos at the plate, you're giving yourself a chance.
Exactly. I mean, that's the worst thing that could happen to us right there in that ball in the gap. He caught that ball, made a great play. And, you know, if Fish wasn't running, he would have been, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's just the worst case scenario that could happen in that situation. But, as you said, this is the kind of stuff that Carlos loves right here. What better way to come back and do this?
Does have a career home run against Colomé in 4 at-bats. Carlos 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts tonight.
I'd like to see that same pitch thrown again. Would be nice. Spinning slider. Expect it to break and it doesn't.
A.J. Hinch looking on. He has not used anybody in his bullpen for 3 straight games this year. Seattle, a little different story with all their 1- and 2-run games. Colomé's 3rd straight game here. Fouls one into the crowd. It's 0-2.
Yeah, his timing is just a little off right now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. Coming off the DL, it's just a click off.
Because those pitches that he's been, those last 2 were handleable pitches for Carlos. But hey, man, it's going to take a little bit of time to get back into this. But you know, I keep going back to it. Just means something that he's there. Colomé goes back to the big leg catch. I have no problem with Alex trying to steal a base here. Worst comes to worst, Carlos leads off the next inning. Oh shit. That's the pitch right there where you start to lean out a little bit and see how his body's going forward.
Trying to get that slider.
He didn't see that till almost the ball was at his belt. I went, oh. Been there, done that. Guys at home, see Alex peeking in at the catcher to see if he can find out what's coming. Pick a pitch to steal on. See, we talk all the time up here about making adjustments, you know, the hitters and all that. Well, that's their job too, the pitchers, you know.
Yep.
And good catchers can figure out what a hitter is doing, what he's not getting to, and why he's not getting it.
Reading swings.
Yes. And pitchers, you know, I've seen pitchers do that too. I mean, they know what's going on. That's why they say Greg Maddux used to watch BP before he pitched.
Bregman with his biggest lead so far stays. The pitch in the dirt, 2-2. Maddux used to watch BP?
Yeah.
Wow.
Watch what guys were doing in BP. He was okay.
Yeah, he was a real student of the game.
Yeah. Well, he had to pitch. You know what I mean? Pitch. He didn't have 95, 96. He certainly had a good sinker and a great changeup.
Yeah, changeup was ridiculous.
Came out just like his two-seamer.
Now the count's full, so Bregman will get a head start here with 2 outs.
And the only good thing is that you force Colomé into a 3-2 count. Got a guy on deck in Evan Gattis who can crush one out of this ballpark, so he has to throw a strike.
Well, and the good part also is the way he just took that last pitch.
Yeah.
He didn't flinch at it.
Outside, ball 4. Carlos draws the walk. putting the tying and go-ahead runs on base, and Evan Gaddis to the plate.
That is the worst feeling ever right there. Well, not the worst feeling ever, but as far as this, he do that, he pretty sure he did go, and then he look, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Let me take my leg guard off.
Verdict.
He knows he went. That's what the gray bat does.
Gaddis, like Correa, has a career home run against Colome. Also in 4 at-bats.
Gats do. That beard's looking strong.
Didn't get a chance to play much in that last road trip with the National League rules.
Yep.
Trying to snap an 0 for 13 here with 2 runners on and 2 outs in the 8th. Outside ball 1. Ever seen a hitter do what he does with those check swings?
No, I can't even talk about it. I don't understand it. But it works for him.
Just goes through with that lead hand.
Yeah, that's it. All front side's gone, but he doesn't swing at it, so it works.
Crowd standing here of 38,888.
Oh, that was the beard ball.
Into right field, playable for Haniger. Astros leave 2. We head to the 9th in a 3-2 game.
But he created a very uncomfortable at bat with as intimidating as he was on the mound, just in size, and then the stuff that he would back it up with. Power slider, power fastball. The All-Star game, making a guy like Reggie Jackson chase that kind of pitch. Pretty impressive stuff from JR. Oh.
Straight down.
Ooh. Yeah, that was wicked right there.
See how that slider goes straight down? Doesn't go across.
Yep.
That's what Brad Lidge's slider is to do.
Good to see JR amongst the alumni here this weekend. Introduced before the game.
He's got to know one thing about JR. That's the most important thing you can learn if you meet JR. You shake his hand, make sure you get your hand all the way into his hand, because he will break it.
Here's Kyle Seager leading off the 9th, facing the new pitcher for the Astros, Hector Rondon.
Rondon's done great since moving into that closing role. This is not a closing situation, but a real opportunity for him to keep this game right where it's at, get the offense back in there and try and fight back and win this ball game.
Seager lost one into left field. Marwin Gonzalez drifts over and makes the play for out number 1. New battery for the Astros. Max Stassi was pinch hit for. Martin still learning all his pitchers and goes to the card here. Martin Maldonado coming in behind the plate. It's been a good addition for the Astros.
He is. The kind of defensive capability that he has, that really helps a lot. Because our guys are strikeout guys. You know, they don't. I don't know this. I know Strami's always working on guys getting a little bit quicker to home plate, but you know, guys that strike out, a lot of guys really don't care if guys steal because they can strike guys out. But to keep him at first is a lot better than being at second. And I think Maldonado, he kind of controls that. You know, guys don't want to run, kind of like you know, a la Yachty in St. Louis.
Yep.
You know, people,
Perez.
yeah, people know. I mean, Pudge.
Yep.
Crazy arms.
And he really reduces secondary leads too with all the back picks. 1-1 pitch is hit well, but to center field, and Tony Kemp is there and plays it for out number 2. Well, Herman retired for the second out. The Astros will have Marwin Gonzalez, Yuli Gurriel, and Josh Reddick due up in the 9th.
I like that. Good fastball hitters.
Facing perhaps the best closer in the game right now in Edwin Diaz, who is warming up in the Seattle bullpen.
Let's get a couple guys on and see what he does.
Here's Ryan Healy, 2 for 3 today. Diaz will appear in the 3rd straight game, as did Alex Colomé. One the count.
I mean, those are the pitches right there. Guys back home. I don't know what it looks like on TV, but I'll tell you what it looks like standing 60 feet 6 inches away. You got no chance to hit that thing.
Well, I mean, the guy throws a pitch like that, I just tip my cap and go, hey, let's move on, because there's no way I'm attacking that thing.
Exactly right. There's nothing to do with that thing.
Ball's hit well to left field. Marwin looking up, and it is off the wall. Ryan Healy into second base with his 3rd hit tonight, his 2nd double. He's a 2-out base runner. So Rondon will face D. Gordon. Gordon has singled and stolen bases last time up. He had been the leadoff hitter all season long until the Mariners got into town for this series, and then Scott Service switched it up a little bit with Mitch Haniger at the top of the lineup. That's paid off for Service with some big production numbers in his first few hitters in this lineup. Gordon moved down to 9 the first 2 games and batting 8th tonight.
So he's going the other way, so that's good for him. Going back down the lineup.
Wow. That's one thing I think I've seen a lot from Hector Rondon is that fastball down and in, down and away.
He does.
He does a great job of locating the fastball in the corners.
So now Gordon, who swings it over 80% of 2-strike pitches, down to the count 0-2.
80?
Over 80.
Wow. Does he have 8 walks on the year?
He does. Got his 8th last night. Takes that one. Maldonado takes it outside. It's 1-2. A D with the lowest walk percentage in Major League Baseball. Drew his 8th walk last night.
I guess that's a big. If you're going to only swing, you're going to swing at over 80% of the pitches, 2 strikes. You can do that. I guess you have to do that all game long. Just foul pitches off.
Just keep fighting
until you finally get something. I mean, when I played I couldn't stand guys like that. Like, can we just get this over with?
Fouling everything off.
Yeah.
You're a big Tony Gwynn fan, where he just keep fouling things off.
I cannot say anything bad about Tony Gwynn. Because not only would he foul it off, then he get the one he likes and smash it somewhere.
Yep.
Right, probably between Carlos and Bregman.
Bringing those percentages down by taking a couple here with 2 strikes. It's 2 and 2.
He's pointing to the dugout. He saw that.
He hung around on the field last night after the game, brought his family down to watch the Friday night fireworks in front of a sellout crowd. Last night was 41,236. Tonight 38,888. Stays alive at 2 and 2.
That's tough to do right there. Is that a heater on the outside part of the plate and hit it between your legs?
Yep.
Wow, that's talent. I don't have that in my repertoire.
It's a miracle of physics.
Yeah. I did not know that he's Flash's son.
No?
Really?
I did not know that until this year.
Tom Flash Gordon.
I played with him.
Yeah, he was here.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably.
Yeah, 0203.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Do it again.
I mean, really? Really? Come on, man. I wonder, I mean, I imagine that's got to be a little frustrating because some of these pitches that Rondon has made are really good pitches.
Yeah. It's crazy to think as much as he is able to keep at bats alive that he doesn't draw more walks.
I know.
You would think, yeah.
Forces guys to throw pitches near the zone. 8th pitch in this sequence.
Well, I was there for Ricky Gutierrez, so this doesn't faze me at all. That's why Ricky was so mad. I mean, the end result is you're going to make an out anyway. I mean, that was Cologne back then, throwing 100. Actually, that's what he told me. He said he wasted all that time making out. Yeah, tell me about it.
Towards the middle, Yuli down to a knee and makes a nice play to end the inning. So ahead to the bottom of the 9th. The Astros will try and solve Edwin Diaz down 1. Teriyaki bowls for a limited time. Astros had 2 hits in the 8th inning, unable to score a run in that inning. And now they go to the 9th down 3-2 and facing the closer for the Seattle Mariners, Edwin Diaz.
Edwin Diaz is very good, leading the American League in saves with 44. He's got a couple in this series already. 57 innings he has pitched, 96 strikeouts. He is perfect in save opportunities against the Astros this season with that 4 saves you see at the bottom of the screen. Throws hard, averages 97.3 miles an hour on that fastball. Changeup at 94.5 miles an hour and a slider close to 90.
Well, we got the right guy up. Marvin hitting left-handed.
Yep, he can hit the
fastball.
Diaz usually pounds the zone with first pitch strikes, by far the highest percentage in their bullpen with first pitch strikes.
Slider.
Delivers a slider for a strike. It's 0-1.
I guess he knew that too. Marvin's a good fastball hitter.
Yep.
Mike Zunino, the new catcher for the Mariners. Of Diaz, 44 saves this year, 22 have been in one-run games. He's ahead of Marwin, 0-2.
Tells you a lot about Diaz, actually. All those saves in one-run games.
Oh, yeah.
He has a good chance to break the all-time record. For
what is it now?
For one-run saves?
No, how about total saves?
Was it Thigpen?
Is it still Bobby Thigpen?
Didn't Gagne hit?
Oh, Gagne got him.
Oh, yeah.
58 maybe?
Yeah, it's up there somewhere.
Well, he's at 44 right now with 7 weeks to play. Thigpen had 57, but I think you're right. I think Gagne got him.
Did Gagne do it over 2 seasons and almost had 70? Is that,
yeah, I think he got closer to 80.
Yeah.
As far as not blowing a save.
Yeah.
That many consecutive.
He was filthy.
Just amazing to me that you have Edwin Diaz in your bullpen sitting on 44 saves, and then Colomé last year had 47. Who's setting up for this guy now?
Yeah. Well, we talked about, I've said this 8 times tonight. We talked about this earlier, about how the game has changed, whether your bullpen is such a big factor. The last 4 innings of a game, if you have a bullpen like these guys, or bullpen like the Yankees, you know, we got all these guys that have tons of saves and stuff. I mean, it makes it, you know, like the Nasty Boys when I first came up. You know, you had Charlton, Myers, and Dibble.
Yep.
And now they're basically doing that same thing all over again, where it's a 6-inning, now even a 5-inning game.
Well, I think that's where the Oakland A's have made all their moves is in the back into their bullpen. Fernando Rodney, Juris Familia. Then they have Trevino and Trinan to back up.
There's 5 innings right there. You got
that's
4
what they're
innings
starting
with
to
those
do
guys.
now is count backwards. A lot of these managers.
And I think it's kind of smart to do that towards the end of the year. You know, because you're going to play in these meaningful big games. And if you guys have guys like that to shorten games, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to see all kinds of guys coming in and out. If you're throwing out the 4 best guys, and you know, some of the 4 best guys in the league, that's a pretty good opportunity for you to win that ball game. Instead of having just one dude where you had to get him through 8th inning.
How do you get to that guy?
Yeah.
K-Rod, Frankie Rodriguez has the saves record, 62. Gagne has the consecutive saves record, 55. 3-1. Diaz behind Yuli here. Shows a love a base runner to get this crowd back into it.
If it's a strike and it's a fastball, Yuli's going to kill this ball. I don't know where, but somewhere. Oh, it's down.
None of the Astros on their roster, they faced Diaz between 2 and 7 times as individuals. None of the Astros have an extra base hit against Diaz. And Yuli goes down swinging as Diaz gets him with the slider for out number 2. Diaz's strikeout percentage is the 2nd highest in the history of baseball. Only Craig Kimbrell last year, who struck out 49.6%, had a higher strikeout percentage. Diaz has struck out 98 of the 217 he's faced. Got 2 strikeouts tonight. Had 2 strikeouts last night. And Reddick pops one high in the air. Kyle Seager comes on, and the Mariners improve to 44-17 in 1- and 2-run games as they win tonight 3-2. And the Mariners have taken the first 3 games of this series from the Houston Astros. We will have more coming up after this with the post-game show around the corner.